You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Oh, it's good to be back.
I'm not going to lose.
But you say that in the last minute of the second.
I am not going to lose. Did you hear what I said?
And what is going on with your ear over there, Jake, if I could just ask that?
I'm not getting my bit off on Friday night, so I got my diamond spiked ear covers right there.
All right.
Damn, there's fighting words. Literally fighting words. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson there. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday edition of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network. It's already November 14th. 2 weeks from today is Turkey Day. Lots to discuss. Let's get it going. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the show on the Coastal Sports Network and across the video platform. Following me at PShep326 on Twitter, X, on Facebook, SR1029thegame.com, Ion TV, Rumble, CSN Florida, Kick, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, and always you can call or text the show at 727-858-6650. So, yes, that indeed was Jake Paul, or Mike Tyson first, and then Jake Paul. Had their final press conference yesterday in Dallas as we get ready for the big fight on Netflix coming up Friday night, probably around 10 o'clock from AT&T Stadium, a.k.a. Jerry's World, which should be very, very interesting. So we'll have some highlights from the press conference earlier from yesterday. Later on in the show, we'll do that. Dan, good morning. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show. Here, lots to discuss as well. Huge game tonight in the NFC East, something that we have not seen between these two teams since 1996. And you say, ¿por qué? Pourquoi? And I tell you because it's the first time, Angel Martinez, that both your Philadelphia Eagles and not my Washington Commanders, a.k.a. Redskins, are 4 games over 500 at this time of year. Hasn't happened since 1996. Huge game tonight for the Eagles and the Commanders, for that matter. We're going to get that, get all the pregame sound for you for that one coming up tonight on Amazon Prime. Tonight with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit. Meanwhile, the Celtics got back on track last night. My boys are clobbering Brooklyn on the road. Second half, Tatum was unbelievable, awesome. We're going to get to the Philadelphia 76ers as well. Joel Embiid did not play last night. Paul George did not play last night. And Tyrese Maxey didn't play last night either. And they hung in there like warriors. They did, right up until the very end. Cleveland just prevailed. Too much talent with Donovan Mitchell and company. But we will get to why Joel Embiid did not play. And the only thing that happened good last night in the 76ers was that stupid Smurf turf was off the floor. Because it wasn't one of those cup games, whatever. So it's back to the regular floor. But Cleveland remains undefeated at 13-0. We'll get into that. Kendrick Perkins is calling for an investigation into the 76ers, by the way. I kind of understand where he's coming from. We'll get to that video as well. We'll do a whole NBA, NHL rundown. We found out yesterday Greg Popovich suffered a mini stroke on November 2nd, so he's healing. Wembanyama put up 50 last night. Giannis put up 60. What was it, 63? What did he put up last night? Yeah, and a come-from-behind win last night for the Milwaukee Bucks at home against the Detroit Pistons. And let me see, what was it? He put up 59, I'm sorry. Put up 59. Wembanyama put up 50 in their win. And Tatum put up 36 and 10 and 8. He was outstanding last night. So we have that. NHL rundown. The Tampa Bay Lightning have a huge game tonight at home at Amalie against the Winnipeg Jets, who are just about unbeatable, absolutely unbeatable. And Hellebuck, their goaltender, out of UMass Lowell, by the way, has been the best goalie in the league thus far, no question about it. So the Jets come in, literally, they are the anti-New York Jets. This is the Winnipeg Jets. And they come in playing great hockey. Won 7 in a row, I believe. They're 14-1 overall. They come into Amalie tonight to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Bruins are at Minnesota. So we have all that to consider, the stuff from the fights. DJ Lagway for the Gators is practicing this week and looks sort of promising as they have a huge game for them anyway, and LSU for that matter, when they host LSU at the Swamp on Saturday. My Hurricanes have the night off. Yet we will talk with Trevor Harris anyway from WQAM in Miami, one of the exec producers and one of the co-hosts for the Miami Dolphins post-game show. We'll talk with him. Mick Colagio will join me at 9:05. We'll delve more into not only the Bruins, but the rest of the NHL. No better NHL insider than Mick. And a whole lot more. So with that, we say buenos dias to Angel Martinez out in Tampa area. A lovely day today. A very nice, breezy 66 degrees right now here in Southwest Florida in Fort Myers. And I'm sure it's the same up where you are in Tampa. Nice to open the doors this morning a little bit, and more of that to come later on this week. So that's always good. We can shut the AC off. I know the problems we have here. Shut the AC off and open the windows for both lanais, and we'll be all set.
Yeah. Buenos dias, Pete. But yeah, it is funny, though, how we think about like up north, you worry about turning on their heat and then cry about it when it's time for them to turn it off.
I've never turned on the heat down here yet. And I'm coming up on 8 years living down here full time. I have never once turned on the heat, whether I was in Bonita Springs or here now in Fort Myers, never. Now, it does get down to 39 degrees, 40 degrees. It can in December, January, and even parts once in a while in the morning. I mean, it's never that way middays. I mean, the coolest I ever remembered being down here was about 3 years ago around Christmas time. And it was about in the middle of the day was overcast and breezy and about 55 degrees. But the breeze made it feel like, 40 degrees. But so what? You don't shovel sunshine, as they say down here.
Exactly.
But it does get people, it can get, a tad chilly where you're putting on some, those Walmart jammy bottoms that you see people walk around in the store all the time. But I don't do that. Just here, I have my Stewie pajama bottoms. I said, stop talking.
The funny thing is, though, I don't.
My Avenger jammy bottoms. I have those too.
No, they do. But I don't understand, why do we transition into fall winter clothes here in Florida? It makes absolutely zero sense. Walmart, Target, like they all do them. Like, you guys do realize we have wall-to-wall sunshine, and there's a lot of us still would like to find a pair of shorts during the wintertime, but no, we got to wait until February to find them all over again.
Well, it's because all the snowbirds that come down, and people are expecting. They're going to get their pool time. They're going to get and especially the vacation time, especially around December, February, and April. All the kids around a lot of the country come down, for school vacation time. So no matter what, they are going to get their beach. Doesn't matter what the temperature is. They're going to get their beach time. They're going to get there. And I can sort of relate to that because I felt the same way when I used to vacation on the East Coast as a kid, and we would come down 2 or 3 times a year, and I'll be goddamned if I wasn't going to go in the pool. And there were a couple times in December we came down after Christmas, and it was in the high 50s, low 60s in the Fort Lauderdale, Pompano area where I used to go. And it didn't matter. If the sun was out, I was in the pool. It just you were going in. It just didn't matter. But anyway, we digress.
By the way, yesterday, I ended up stepping out to the store. Now, This is when you know that something gets to be really catchy. So there's guy pulls up, in our usual Florida trucks where they're up about, 15 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
But it's funny because he's pumping Wild Thing. So I walk over to his truck and I'm like bouncing back and forth a little bit, and he looks down and looks over. He goes,
that song, Wild Thing, Wild Thing. Dun, dun.
No, the one that you play.
Okay. Okay. Tone Loc.
Yeah.
We can't play him without Mike, so that'll be coming up at the bottom of the hour, possibly.
Well, the funny thing was he's playing it, and you can tell like it's not like thunderous bass, but he's got a nice bass going on in his truck. Yeah. So I'm just moving kind of back and forth, and he finally looks down, looks over, and goes, Hey, you like that song, huh? I'm like, if you only knew why I ended up liking that song.
I've got a lot of compliments and comments about it. All good stuff, just except a couple of true Miami Dolphin fans I think I'm going over the top. I don't give a shit what you think. It's funny as hell. And I
It is.
continue to do it. I'm surprised it's not on SportsCenter yet.
It'll get there. If not the weekend, the weekday edition, it'll definitely be there by the weekend.
Yeah, speaking of the weekend, I got to come back with him. What's the song? The weekend that he does. Blinded. It's that great song that he has. Blind Lights. I love that song.
Yeah.
I love that song. But yeah, we'll hear from Mike McDaniel later on. We'll hear from a lot of NFL playing. But starting tonight, now I got to ask you, and it's too bad this game isn't that it's a short week for both teams. But nevertheless, this is a gigantic game tonight. Washington at Philadelphia tonight. Your peeps. The place is going to be, I'm sure they're lined up already to get into the parking lot at the Link. Some really interesting stats for this game, Angel, going in. As I said to start the show, this is the first time both teams are 4 games over 500 at this point in the season. First time since 1996, which is unbelievable. And the other thing to watch in this game, I think is the key matchup is going to be Saquon Barkley, who's averaging over 110 yards a game. They're second. That's second in the NFL. And Washington's run defense sucks. It's ranked 28th. So I look for Saquon Barkley to have a big game tonight. But, you know as well as I do, there's going to be some goofy things that happen in this game. There's going to be a double deflected turnover, or something happened on special teams. I don't know what it is. I'm expecting an exciting game tonight. I think your Eagles are going to win, probably by a field goal. It's 3.5. So if you're betting this game, I would definitely either take the Commanders up to 4, buy the half a point, or get the Eagles down to 3. It's a fascinating game to me. Washington coming off that horrible loss, blowing the game to the Steelers, and then the Eagles, are kicking the crap out of teams. But they're bad teams, and their overall record is excellent at 7-2. You can only do what you do. I think people brought up the stat that the teams that they have beaten have a combined record of like 22-42. I understand all that, but there's nothing you can do about that. You got to just every game it's its own separate entity. This is a huge game tonight. You got to be psyched for this one, Angel, right? You got to be psyched for this one, or are you just saying, how is Sirianni going to screw it up? And we're going to be sitting here tomorrow morning after this time talking about how the Eagles blew it. What say you, sir?
I'm not even worried about Sirianni, actually, because I heard the press conference yesterday not with him, because I don't care, more about Jalen Hurts. And Jalen, finally, to me, is starting to sound like Jalen Hurts the way he's been. Meaning like the confidence. When he spoke really well about Jane Daniel yesterday, so it's not like he's not like exuding like, yes, we're going to come out here and win like gangbusters. He basically put it 50-50, as I would expect any other quarterback to end up doing. But even he said it's going to be challenging, and that's what I expect. I don't expect a blowout from either or side, and if there is, it's one of those miracle games. But to me personally, I like the Eagles' chances tonight for sure. The confidence is there. Yeah.
Hang on. Hold on. Angel with a positive view on the Eagles.
Yeah, well, I just like the way Jalen sounded like Jalen. It's been a long
We'll hear
time.
from him in a second. Jalen Hurts, we'll hear from him in a second because I have the two cuts exactly what you're talking about. But you're starting to believe. That's what it sounds like.
I just mentioned Jalen. I didn't mention the whole entire team. I just mentioned Jalen. So that's in my confidence just starts there, and maybe it'll continue on with the rest of the team.
All right, well, let's hear from Jalen Hurts. Exactly what you were talking about. First, on the challenges that Washington presents him.
Well, they're a disciplined football team. Have great coaches. Obviously got a lot of familiarity with them, and they got great players playing hard. The way they are able to create problems up front. Their linebackers are really good players, smart players, instinctual players, fast players. And then out wide, they're very sticky in coverage.
Ooh, sticky and gooey in coverage. Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts on Jaden Daniels.
I've always thought he's, a great player, been able to win the Heisman, all the success he's had, and even until this point.
How about Jalen Hurts on facing Bobby Wagner?
Defense like that, who's played so long at such a high level, is that noticeable on the field when you're out there?
Yeah, there's a respect factor to that. He's done it for a very long time. He's one of the best to do it, and so competitively, that's a great advantage for him. That's something with his experience and everything that he's able to lean on. That's something that pops off.
Good stuff there, all from the Eagles webpage. Meanwhile, this from NBC Sports Philadelphia. Jordan Maleta is pumped to get back on the field.
That was extremely tough. I love the team. I love to be out there. I love my job, man. This is a special opportunity that we have this year to go out there and win a Super Bowl. So, for me, I had to put my ego aside and just, deal with the injury first. So that kind of, I think shifting my focus on getting back on the field was probably the number one goal of mine, and not, trying not to feel left out or left behind. So, just focusing on treatment every day really helped me, in hindsight, get to where I am today.
What do you think about Fred going in for you? I think he did there.
Fred did an amazing job. I don't need to say anything. Fred is awesome, man. Love him to death, man. He stepped up, and that's a credit to Fred and a credit to Stout for preparing him that way. So, well done to Fred, man. I was texting him money bags before the game, texting him money bags after the game. I was like, man, you're loading the bank right now, and I'm excited for Fred for next year, man.
All right. Also, Marshawn Lattimore yesterday ruled out for this one, so that's good news. Also, the quarterback they got in the trade, so that's good news also for the Eagles there. There are some injuries as well, both sides, but like I said, it's interesting because both teams, at least 4 games over 500 entering the game for the first time since 1996. And we're talking back then about players. We're talking about North Turner and coaches, Ray Rhodes, Terry Allen, Ricky Waters, Coy Detmer, and Gus Frerotte. That's what we're talking about. How about that? Blast from the past, Angel.
Oh, yeah. That's oh, boy. Yeah, it's good. I wish the same thing. I wish they would go back to the Redskins, but whatever. So we can just keep going the way it was before. No, but this is, like I said, his confidence to me in that presser, this is the one that I've been waiting to hear since the losing streak started from last season. So it's confidence. I'm not going to get too much into it because I know I'll get my hopes up and then they'll turn around and sweep the rug right from under me and I'll flip over like Charlie Brown. So I'm going Jalen.
Well, who's Lucy then pulling the football away?
That would be the Redskins pulling it away.
Meanwhile, Nick Sirianni was asked about Zach Ertz and talked about the business side of the NFL.
Yeah, I think that first and foremost, Zach was an all-time Eagle and was really honored to be around him, and he's still playing at a high level in this part of his career. So, that was that. Going through that, and him moving on, us moving on in the organization, and him getting a fresh start. That was always that's a tough one because I did really come to really value Zach Ertz, the person, Zach Ertz, the player, and enjoyed the time that I had around him. And so even as you work through all these years, these 4 years, even every one of the moves that you make or when somebody's not here anymore, they all have a little different of a flow. I think at the end of the day, it goes back to the relationship that you have and you try to build with your team and with your players on your team. And I value that relationship that I have with Zach, and and obviously he's a great player.
No question about it. Absolutely no question about it. That will be the irony of all ironies if he is the one that ends up beating you guys tonight. Catching some game-winning touchdown or some fluky play at the end. He's going to score tonight. I'm telling you right now, if there's a prop bet, I'm not sure what. I'm sure that there's one out there. I would absolutely grab that. Whatever it is, it's probably plus 150 or a Zach Ertz anytime touchdown. I would absolutely love that prop bet tonight. If I see it, I'm definitely going to put something on it.
No, you're right. He's definitely going to. Jane is. He is definitely going to target him being at the link. The same way he's going to get. I'm pretty sure he'll get a video tribute as he should from the Eagles.
Yeah.
And then the same way too. I mean, he's going to get cheered by the crowd, but when the game starts, it'll be no different. And who knows? Maybe if he scores a touchdown, maybe the Eagles will feel like, all right, you know what? We'll give him this one little one, and that's it. But I just.
Oh, I don't think anything's going to be. I mean, you're going to have your linebackers, who Bond, Dean, Sweat, Slay, those guys, the corners. Who's the safety? CJ Johnson Gardner. Those guys are going to have they're the ones that are going to be responsible if he scores.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be one of the linebackers or one of the safeties. So that's going to be really interesting. Meanwhile,
go ahead. They had a before you move on to the next one here. They had a I guess not like those guys are not like a magician, also not like like they'll tell you to pull a card out, whatever, write something on it, and put it in a deck, and so I forget exactly what they're called, like an illusionist, I guess, or whatever. They had one apparently. I don't know if it was yesterday, or the day before at Eagles training. It was actually a pretty good video of the guy and the guys that he chose. Maybe if I find it, we can throw it up there a little bit later on.
Okay, all right. Moving on to the Commanders. Let's see what they have to say. Here is head coach Dan Quinn on facing the Eagles tonight.
What we call our practice is a mock game. And what we do on that, we go through situations and scenarios.
They mock
to
the
get
Eagles?
us lined up for Thursday night. Tomorrow, we'll touch the gas and begin that ramp up, getting ready for the game. So it's slow on Monday, a little faster on Tuesday, and then we begin the ramp up tomorrow, getting ready for the games. We have 3 guys that will be out today. That'll be Ballore, Lattimore, and Seibert. And then we're ready to get rolling. The guys are pumped. And so back in the division and on the road. So a lot to look forward to for Thursday night. So
Dan Quinn talked about Jaden Daniels running less lately.
Jaden's run less over the last couple weeks. Is that circumstantial, or is that more an evolution for what he's doing?
Can I choose option C? Okay, where some of it is circumstantial, where it was by design early on, where maybe less, hits would be good. But past that, we're kind of back into, regular mode of how to operate and going through that. So I would say not circumstantial anymore, but there was less last week. And also tip our hat to Pittsburgh. I thought they did a really good job too. They've got a good defense, all 3 levels. And so I think that was a factor as well.
All right, last from Dan Quinn on the difference that Saquon Barkley has made for the Eagles.
And then with the Eagles and Saquon Barkley, they've been using him a lot more in the run game lately. Like, what kind of difference has he made to that offense?
Yeah, he's an incredible player. I think the combination, where he can take somebody's leverage and try to work outside because he has the speed to go, and then the ability to spin or to change leverage. And so that, to me, is a factor in itself, the ability to start and stop, with that explosive nature that he has and try to break somebody's leverage. So the tackling, the angles, you want to make sure that point is really hammered home over and over. So that, he's an incredible player, great hands, the run game, the pass game. So when you see him in the Giants doing similar things and now doing similar things here, that transfers.
If you're playing fantasy tonight, he should be your first pick. Or if you're in a league that starts tonight and goes through Sunday or Monday, take Saquon Barkley tonight. The Commanders are ranked 28th against the run. Barkley is second in rushing with 110 plus a game. I think he goes off tonight again. I'm talking 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 again. I haven't been wrong yet. I've only given the 2 touchdown guarantee with Barkley twice this year. I'm 2-0, and he may go for 3. And I'll go at least 1 catching and 1 rushing. But it's very possible 2 rushing and 1 receiving. I think he is going to light them up. I really do today. Jaden Daniels, meanwhile, on how he's taking care of his body.
Feel good. Week in and week out, I feel good. I feel that I get my body back right to be able to go out there and play on Sundays.
Have you? What's your process for that? Has it changed at all since being in the NFL? Have you learned anything that's helped you do that?
Yeah, I think you take little tidbits from the vets, how they can recover throughout the week. Even more importantly, how can I recover throughout the shorter weeks and stuff like that. So just take tidbits, but for the most part, it's been pretty consistent.
Jaden Daniels also talked about on Pittsburgh containing him in the run game last week.
And you've had a chance to watch the tape. This is the rare game where you weren't able to sort of use your legs as much as normal. What was your sense of watching the tape as to why that was the case?
I mean, just schematically what Pittsburgh were doing, pretty much disciplining the rush lanes and stuff like that. So zone reads, they're kind of taking me out of the zone read type of situation. So it was just more so just making the right football play.
And finally, before we go to break, Jaden Daniels on Vic Fangio, the Eagles DC, on the pre and post snap adjustments.
Just got to get your eyes right. It's pretty much the only thing. Get your eyes right, trust your eyes, and go out there and execute the offense.
And they have a couple young corners out there. Is there any added challenge with that, just in, more of a mystery, I guess?
I mean, not at all. I mean, they pretty much could probably say the same thing of me, a young quarterback. So just go out there and just play the ball. Take what the defense gives us. If we get one-on-one opportunities, we got to capitalize on them, and we go from there.
Nice, with the generic A answer. No question about it. Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good game tonight. I think it's going to be exciting. The link is going to be buzzing. This is great to see in the NFC East, old-school rivalry like this in a game that really means something. The Commanders are 7-3. The Eagles are 7-2. Should be, I think it's going to come right down to the wire. And who knows, Saquon Barkley and Zach Ertz could both be heroes and villains in this game. How about that? Great setup by me. All right, when we come back, some great video from Drake May, and what a leader this kid is already. Amazing stuff. Got some stuff he said, video from the press conference yesterday, and the Patriots getting ready to take on the Rams this weekend. Got Gerard Mayo as well. He's happy about Drake May's success. We'll hear from him. We'll hear from some of the other teams. We're going to hear a lot from the Bears. We'll see what Caleb Williams thinks about Thomas Brown and his offense taking over, and what a clusterfuck it is in the Windy City. Ridiculous. We'll hear from some Miami Dolphins and the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, thank goodness, says he's going to play next year. Maybe he'll start playing this year. Baltimore's at Pittsburgh this week, which is phenomenal. And there's a stat I heard today. Baltimore and Pittsburgh, it always seems to be a 1 or a 2 point game. It's unbelievable. And these two coaches, Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh, have faced each other. The only two coaches who I believe I heard this morning that have faced each other more often than these two guys are Hallis and Lombardi. How about that? It's amazing. But believe it or not, Angel, that Mike Tomlin has only faced Lamar Jackson. Guess how many times?
Twice.
4.
Wow.
Yeah, 4. Only 4 times in this heated rivalry. So that's a hell of a game coming up as well. Baltimore at Pittsburgh coming up. We're going to touch on that. I got press conference highlights from yesterday's final presser between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. You don't want to miss that. The big fight's coming up on Netflix at 10 o'clock as well on Friday night. That's tomorrow night. And that'll be something. That will be really, really something. Friend Bill Sparrow says, bet Jake Paul. Thinks Paul is going to win. Obviously, Tyson thinks he's going to win. And we'll have some funny cuts from the press conference from yesterday as well. As far as NBA, NHL rundown, recap the Celtics' dominating win last night on the road in Brooklyn, particularly in the second half. They just kicked the shit out of them. And we're going to have the NBA Live yesterday when they revealed that Joel Embiid, despite you talk about beep. I don't know what Joel Embiid. First, he's not going to play back-to-back games earlier this week. He is going to play back-to-back games. He didn't play last night. Paul George is legitimately hurt. I don't know what Joel Embiid is, and Maxi's legitimately hurt too. So all 3 stars didn't play last night, yet they nearly pulled off a stunning upset. But too much Donovan Mitchell, too much Cavaliers in the end in Philadelphia. But I don't know. It is hard. What are they, 2-10 to start the season, and they lose last night by 8. It is hard to figure out what is going on in Philadelphia. With the 76ers anyway. Very hard. But we'll get into it. We'll talk about it and let you hear what they said yesterday on NBA Live as well. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Thursday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our 2nd location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it Gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
Phil Castanetti Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. Last month, you might remember Tim Thomas, legendary Bruins goalie, returned on October 5th. What a turnout it was. And now a new event coming up. On Saturday, November 30th, it's Willie O'Ree, yes, the original Jackie Robinson of the National Hockey League. He'll be signing autographs to the public, $25 each. There'll be photos, pucks, and cards available. Phone orders are welcome. Just call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. Hey, everybody. It's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey,
Why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home. Wow. Awesome. Where were you, Jill? Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
I think I am supremely only concerned with the 2024 Dolphins for sure, and I think that every team's ability to be mentally tough in the NFL season is definitely tried, and I think case in point, some of the stuff that we've been going through and.
There's a wild thing. There he is, Miami Dolphin head coach Mike McDaniel talking about former player Deshaun Elliott's comments recently said that Miami's soft. Miami is soft. Now, how could they be soft with a hard-ass coach like Mike McDaniel? The wild thing out there. But he wants no part of it. He wants no part of that at all. And he goes on. Let's just finish the cut here. He goes on about it.
I think our team played a tough-fought game the last 3 weeks, and ended up finding a way to win this past week. And I think that's not the easiest thing to do, and just worried about this year's team. And it's cool you said on a podcast. Cool podcast.
What the fuck? Jesus Christmas.
Oh
my
I
God.
want to hear a debate between him and Elon Musk. Oh, that'd be great.
And here's why Mike McDaniel, why would he even address it? There are a lot of coaches. And again, I go back to Bill and, Belichick. And if that ever came up in a press conference, first of all, Bill would say, I don't worry about what. I don't worry about that stuff. I don't listen to podcasts. I mean, there are so many ways. Why even address it? Mike McDaniel just said, I don't give a crap about that nonsense. I'm worried about our game this week, hosting the Raiders. Why go into it at all? It's just stupid. It's just stupid to even address it.
Yep, it is.
It really is. If the guy made a really, really personal attack on him or his family or something, then that's different. But, I mean, other coaches probably would have said, I don't pay attention to the outside noise. That's all you got to say. Instead, he goes blathering on for like 2 minutes about nothing. About, how Deshaun Elliott. Yeah, I mean, 2 minutes. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Meanwhile, Angel, I want to get back to the game tonight just real quick before I get it. There's a couple of videos I want to play. One is, if you scroll down a couple, It's from First Take yesterday. Mad Dog on with Stephen A. and Jeff Saturday, and they're talking about the game coming up tonight. And who do you trust? Who do you trust? The Washington Commanders or the Eagles or the coaches and all that stuff? Pretty good stuff here.
Now, they need to win the game Thursday if they want to go out there and win the division. But remember, Jeff and Stevie, one thing about Washington, they haven't had their bye yet. And Philadelphia's had their bye. They're going to get a week off. Their scheduled the last 5 or 6 games is pretty easy. Dallas twice is a perfect example of that. And if they ever win the game tomorrow night and not Philly fan base will get feisty, that's hard to be a home team in Philly sometimes. They'll be in good shape to win the division. So I know it sounds crazy with a rookie quarterback against Hurts. I actually trust the Commanders more than I trust the Eagles at this point in the season.
I'm actually going to agree with you here, but I want to make sure people understand. I don't know that I don't trust the Commanders more than I trust the Eagles, but I think Daniel, as a quarterback, I would trust Daniels more than Hurts at this point. I think Hurts, he has played significantly better in these past few weeks, again, against some subpar defenses. But protecting the ball and then playing within the system, like some of the plays that he's made have been pretty good. Now, A.J. Brown getting healthy is monumental for this football team. Obviously, Devontae Smith, Goddard playing, all of those things. Their line has been decimated by injuries and for some reason hadn't had a ton of fall off. But as guys get healthier, I like the Eagles long term. They are my pick for the NFC East. But I think Jaden Daniels has put himself in a different category than I would put most quarterbacks. Man, the guy, he has full autonomy in this offense and is playing lights out. Team-wise, I'm going Eagles, but QB-wise, I think I put Jaden Daniels up there. I'm not saying MVP, but he's up in that category of top echelon quarterbacks already, which is insane for me to say about a rookie.
All right, and let's look at the numbers real quick. And I want to get Angel's thoughts as well, being the big Eagle supporter on this show. Sometimes. Actually, today he's been a big supporter. So Daniels so far, 2,147 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And for Hurts, 1,976 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. But I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if I trust Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts. Now, look, it's been some subpar defenses he's played, but the Eagles have still won by 20 points the last 3 games. So, I mean, you can only play who you can play. And they've won by that average for a while. I don't think and maybe I didn't watch all the show yesterday. I don't sit there and watch ESPN 24/7, but I do watch a lot of it. And I still think the big numbers in this game, it's going to be about Saquon Barkley against that pathetic Washington Commander run defense. That's what it's going to be. Barkley's second in the NFL in rushing, and the 28th defense against the run is the Washington Commanders. I think that's the game. I think that's the story of the game. Also, like I said, goofy turnovers. Yep. That's the other thing that's going to come into play. And the Eagles and even the Commanders for that matter, but the Eagles mostly, Angel, I worry about them getting caught up in the moment. What you do not want if you're the Eagles is, you stop them on 3rd and 15 and get stupid late hit penalty or a 5-yard illegal, contact, hand to the face, something stupid that happens on a follow through that a fingernail might hit somebody's face mask. That's what you got to avoid. I think if you're the Eagles tonight, it's an old cliche, stay within yourself, but I think it applies in this case. And the one thing I cannot stand when analysts say about teams is about staying in the system. I don't know what that means. I've been saying it for years, whether I'm down here or in Boston, it doesn't matter. I don't know what it means to stay in the system. What the hell does that mean? It means make good decisions. Make good decisions. That's staying in the system. What does that mean, stay in the system? Every team has the same plays. Every team has the playbook is exactly the same. You may have some more trickery plays here and there. Now, whether you decide to use them or when you want to use some of these plays in the system, I don't know what it means. I don't know offensively what stay within the system means. I've been trying to figure it out. I've asked people, I've asked NFL players, what does it mean to stay in the system? It means don't be an idiot. Throw the ball away when you have to throw the ball away, Caleb Williams. Run when you need to run. Slide, Tua, feet first. I mean, staying within the system. Somebody tell me what that means. I don't get it. I don't understand what staying in the system means. Everybody has a system. What system is it? I don't know. Somebody explain it to me. I don't know what that means when analysts say stay within the system. Honest to God, I don't. I think it's so vague that you can say that about anything. Yeah, Angels, you know what? When you're in Tampa, we are, stay in your system.
Okay. Did I stay in my lane too while I'm at it?
Stay in your lane. Stay in your system. I don't know what the fuck it means.
It doesn't, truthfully, it doesn't make any sense of how that even means. Like, staying it.
I mean, it's just going to be like, when Walsh was running, the West Coast offense, stay in the system. Okay. West Coast offense, everybody has those kind. Now, you may not have this type of players that can run a West Coast offense or a spread offense, although everybody in the NFL can run a spread offense. I mean, it's just the plays are there, just whether you have the personnel to execute them. Everybody has a West Coast offense type of system or a spread offense type of system or, an I formation type of. I don't know. I don't know what it means. It frustrates me to no end. What does a system mean? It means to me making logical decisions no matter what formation you have out there. What system? There are the same systems. I don't get it. Now, you may say on defense, one team might blitz more than the other, whatever. Their run defense is good because of this. Their pass defense is good because of that. All right, but it's not like everybody has the same. Everybody has a robber defense. Everybody has a cover 0, 2, 3, and 4 defenses. Tampa 2, all that stuff. Just because it was invented in Tampa, that system, Tampa 2 defense, other teams can do the same defense. You may not execute it as well back then as Tampa did because you may not have the players as good. But nevertheless, the plays are there. It's just a question of, do you have the personnel to execute properly? I don't know. This whole system thing, it gets me. I don't know. I don't know what it means. Everybody has a system. It's just, to me, it's the same system. It's about the personnel making logical choices, especially the quarterback. That can make or break any system. If your quarterback stinks, fumbles the ball, throwing a lot of picks, that kind of thing. What system do the Indianapolis Colts have? And they're going back to Anthony Richardson again this week. I got to see, do I have any sound from him? They're going back to Anthony Richardson this week. Decide Joe Flacco sucks, which is, I think that was way. Richardson tapped out. There's still a lot of chatter about whether he should. I don't have any sound for that yet. We will tomorrow. But the Colts have decided to go back to Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Okay, so what's that system? What is that? The system sucks the way he has played this year on the whole, with the interceptions and the touchdowns. The interceptions being more. So I don't know. Did Joe Flacco play better in that system? I don't know. It really is one of the most confusing terms because nobody can give me a straight answer. If you stay in the system of your particular team, what in God's name does that mean? What does it mean?
It's the system within the system. Maybe it's the system of a down. Maybe there's all kinds of systems.
That's what they all have. I don't know what it means. A certain amount of play calling. Rick M says, I'll tell you about a system. All right, let's get to Drake May and the Patriots. If we could scroll down to NFL Network. And they did a great job yesterday. Peter Schrager breaking down Drake May. It's some of the numbers that I had already told you about. It's right from NFL Network. Yeah, it's some of the numbers I told you about earlier this week. That and Peter's going to reiterate them to you right now and show you some highlights of Drake as well.
May is the first rookie with 6 or more passing touchdowns and 200 or more rushing yards in his first 5 career starts since 1950. Yes, bizarre stat, yet we have the crew to bring it out here. This is our guy Dante in research. Hits me up with this one. I'm like, yep, put it on a board. First career 5 starts since 1950. It's McNabb, it's Jalen Hurts, and it's Drake May, who's got better numbers throwing the ball than even those guys. May is the first rookie.
See, I mean, those are numbers I brought up earlier in the week. It takes NFL Network 3 days to come up with the numbers I came up with on Monday. But anyway, nevertheless, it's some interesting stuff. And how about that, Angel? 2 former Eagles up there. Oh, not former, one current.
Yeah.
Pretty good company. Pretty good company right there with 7 touchdowns and 221 rushing yards. And again, Patriot quarterback, we haven't seen those type of numbers since Steve Grogan back in the day in his prime. Meanwhile, there is another video I want you to see. This is a little disturbing. If you're having breakfast, I apologize. It is right below that, Angel. And let me set it up before you play it. It's about Jason Kelsey. Now, here's the problem. Lane Johnson, not Lane Johnson, there's a Detroit Lion player. This happens all the time. I remember Fred Smerlis and Steve Diasa used to tell me about this stuff all the time. What happens a lot in these NFL games, in case you don't know, you don't just get swamp ass, you get poopy butt, you get poopy ass. Jason Kelsey describes NFL poopy ass and why he hates white pants, or did hate white pants.
Poopgate. Woo! Lions linebacker James Houston went viral this weekend for allegedly shitting his pants on the field.
Yeah, this is rough.
Oh,
this is why I hate white pants. This is one of the reasons I hate white pants. I would like to say that I have not ever done this. And luckily, I haven't been out there during a game and done this before. But listen, sometimes, you're exerting a lot of effort on the field. And if you get caught in the wrong type of gut situation.
Nah, dude, what do you mean? If he said it right here, hey, y'all, I sat on some Gatorade.
Come on. Dude. Travis, you and I both know he ain't sit on no Gatorade. Not in that exact specific spot. We all know what that is. And he has nothing to be ashamed of. I am here to have your back, James. I have done this. Dude, I did this before a game once.
What is this?
And
high school?
I felt, like when you shart and you know that there's a possibility something just came up, but you're not certain. And I remember turning.
You got to get off the field.
I turned, and I'm not going to announce names. I turned to my buddy, my O-line friend, and I was like, "Hey, can you check me? Because I think I might have just shit myself, right?" And he checks me. He says, "You're good." I go out for warm-ups, do the whole warm-ups. Lane comes up to me after warm-ups. He's like, "Hey, you got shit all up and down your pants right now." So in between warm-ups and the start of the game,
that should seep through.
I keep my shoulder pads on, take off all of my all of my lower half.
All of it.
Get in the shower and showering.
Oh, that's funny as fuck.
And
you felt that nasty. You had to
dude,
do it out.
it was disgusting.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, this is not the first time it's happened. I know many players that this happened to. It could potentially be Gatorade. I think it's probably highly likely it was a shart that went awry. Because it's just this white pants, man. It's risky.
Again, that's Kelsey brothers, Travis and Jason, obviously on their weekly podcast, New Heights, New Heights podcast. I mean, look, it happens all the guys puke, piss, poop. I mean, it just happens. These are huge men with exorbitant amount of bodily fluids, and I'm telling you, all the players I've talked to in my lifetime, very fortunate. There is nothing worse than being under a pile. The stuff that is grabbed, poked, prodded, purged, plucked is disgusting. It's disgusting what happens at the bottom of an NFL pile that the referees don't see a lot of the times. So
it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. There's no question it happens.
I did see the comment yesterday when he put up there that it was Gatorade. I can't. It's anybody who's smart enough to figure out big difference in the color of between lime Gatorade and what we're seeing on your pants, and that is not Gatorade. But I mean, it happens. I'm pretty sure he's not the last one. And some of the teams that were able to wear their black pants during the games, because sometimes it's like NASCAR drivers. I'll mention it all the time. When they have to go, they just freaking go in a suit. What else can you do?
Yeah. All right, if we could scroll down to Duff Kleiman, I wanted to play this cut from Drake May as well yesterday and what he's learned from his first 5 NFL starts. It's right below the Kelseys right there. A few down, Angel. If we could do that, it'd be fantastic. Here we go.
battling back from adversity in times in the game, in times in this season. Starting the season, obviously you plan on wanting to be the starter and handle adversity, throughout the locker room or throughout just being on the football team, and then handling adversity when I'm actually in there playing. So just channeling times, difficult times, and bouncing back, and knowing at this position that these guys look to me and know that I kind of gotta keep a kind of upbeat mindset and upbeat personality, because these guys follow me and listen to me and respect me. So battling back from adversity in times.
Yeah. Okay. So there's Drake May right there. Also, some good stuff from him. You just saw some of the video highlights from NFL Network and Peter Schrager talking about. Here's more. Here's Gerard Mayo on Drake May.
Yeah, he's been huge. I say, look, there's no one in this organization that deserves more credit as far as what Drake has been able to do on the football field than Alex Van Pelt. When we interviewed Alex, I would say when we interviewed all of the coaches that are here, one of the prerequisites or requirements was a guy who is level-headed and a guy who believes in working together, and a guy who, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, and that's Alex, and I appreciate that.
All right. And I was ready to run Alex Van Pelt out of town, and maybe it was all about the system is much better with Drake May than it was with Jacoby Brissett. I don't think there's anything about it. But when you have the Patriots now, since Drake May took over, as one of the top teams in the red zone offensively, I mean, that's just sick. I mean, I never thought I'd be saying anything close to that this year with how badly they've been played in the red zone the last couple of years. All right, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Actually, we'll do that when we come back from break. I do want to run down last night real quick what happened with the Boston Celtics last night. Outstanding win, 139-114, back on track after blowing that stupid lead to Atlanta 2 nights ago. Jason Tatum, 36 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds. Jaylen Brown had 24 and 12 last night. And Celtics win 139-114. Peyton Pritchard, amazing as usual. 23 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. The Green, they were down 13 early in this one, but it didn't matter. Something about the Nets. The Nets are projected to have like 20 wins this year. But they played the Celtics fairly tough, at least for big chunks. They nearly pulled off one at the Garden last week, and they were up by 13 early in this one. But the Celtics came back and pounded them, and rightly so, 139-114. The 76ers, interesting take here, Angel, yesterday on NBA Live. If we could scroll down to it, which is it is right below the Drake May cut you just played. The NBA on ESPN yesterday with the crew talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, and this is obviously pregame, a couple hours before the game when everybody found out who was not going to play for the 76ers.
So despite what he said last night, Shams, is he and will Paul George be available to go here tonight?
And oh, no. Nope, they will not be on the court tonight. And it is common for players returning from injury. Both players, Paul George coming back from a bone bruise in his left knee. Joel Embiid, we know, is dealing with something in that left knee as well. The NBA investigated that. They found that. So they will both be out tonight. They're going to be resting tonight and getting right. And I know what Joel Embiid said, but I would not hold my breath on back-to-backs, at least in the near future here with him.
It's on me. I think the league should run another investigation. That's what I think. I think they should run another. He just said he feel good. It's not his decision. What's going on?
So despite what he said last night, Shams, is he...
Yeah, again, it's hard to know what to believe. I don't want to have, be like the Dak Prescott people who are ripping him for not playing and calling him a quitter and not knowing the full extent. But I don't know what the Philadelphia 76ers are thinking. I mean, if he is like 75%, you got to go against Cleveland. You got to. I mean, you're playing the team with the best record in the NBA as of now. They were 12-0 coming in. Now they're 13-0. And he's going to play. He's not going to play. I mean, Paul George and Maxey, those injuries are legitimate, so I understand why they're not playing. I haven't agreed with Perk in a long time about a lot of things, but this one he might be onto something again. Not to mention the fans who are paying money for that game last night, and their 3 best players on the floor. And I don't know what the deal is with Joel Embiid. And I objectively, Angel, ask you for your gut feeling on the situation about who's telling the truth here. Could he not go? Is he going back to, I'm not playing back-to-back games, and then he backtracked on that because they got in trouble? I don't know who to believe. I don't know what to believe.
What they found was $138 million worth of crap in his knee is what they found. Because again, he knows, Joel Embiid knows right now, same way like a super agent knows, that at this point, the NBA can't do anything unless they do decide to do some other type of investigation. And so it's not about his knee. You had no problem during the Olympics. So we're only 3 months separated from that. So if you wanted to go to win gold, which you got your gold, and now you come back to Philly, according to him, I lost weight because now I feel better. I can throw the ball better. I can focus better. No, you can't, because now you're just holding out against the fans. And to me, I wouldn't have given him whatever it was, 138, 183 million, whatever it was just a total waste, because now he's really teetering on Andrew Bynum, Ben Simmons 3.0 at this point. And it's a shame to freaking say that. I just have zero faith in Joel Embiid anymore, because either you're faking the funk and you decide when you want to come to play, until the NBA come again with another rule saying it's not up to you and your agent when you feel like playing. It is up to us and per the contract.
Yeah, and who was that guy you mentioned before who's now with the Brooklyn Nets?
What, Ben Simmons?
He didn't play last night either. He actually played against the Celtics last week in the first one. It was unbelievable.
Oh, that's because he talked to his life coach, his head coach, his medium coach, his coach of coach. That's why.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. Bottom of next hour, Trevor Harris is going to join me from WQAM in Miami, talk about the Canes and talk about the Miami Dolphins as well, coming up at the bottom of the hour. And then at 9:05, Mick Colagio, one of my great friends, NHL insider, will talk Bruins. And tonight they are on the road at Minnesota. We'll see if they can make it a couple games in a row. But when we come back after the break, we're going to get into a little bit. I'm going to play all the highlights yesterday from the final press conference of the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson press conference for the big fight that's coming up on Netflix tomorrow night at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Thursday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it Gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Bill Castanetti Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. Last month, you might remember Tim Thomas, legendary Bruins goalie, returned on October 5th. What a turnout it was. And now a new event coming up. On Saturday, November 30th, it's Willie O'Ree, yes, the original Jackie Robinson of the National Hockey League. He'll be signing autographs to the public, $25 each. There'll be photos, pucks, and cards available. Phone orders are welcome. Just call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. Hey, everybody. It's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
To some people,
The sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
But you say that in the last minute of the second.
I am not going to lose. Did you hear what I said?
You will lose. Yeah, them just fighting words again. Fighting words all over the place. AT&T Stadium tomorrow night on Netflix. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson will duke it out. See what happens. It's going to be really interesting. If there's odds on anybody getting bit or poked or prodded in this one besides getting whacked around. Our friend Bill Sparrows from the Boston Herald says he thinks Jake Paul is going to win. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on it yet. I'll probably, whoever's the underdog, I don't even know the odds, to be honest with you right now. But that fight will take place tomorrow night. Will you be watching, Angel Martinez?
I'll watch. I think it's the first time, truthfully, I want to say that maybe I have a little confidence in Nick Paul. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that Tyson comes back with the fury that he does, but 2-minute rounds, I don't know. I would love to see Mike win. Don't get me wrong. For if it's going to be his final fight ever in his career, but I don't know.
We're going to play some of the cuts from yesterday's final press conference. Thanks, everybody. This is the Pete Sheppard Show. Thanks for following me on the Coastal Sports Network, on the video platform, on Twitter X at PShep326, on SR1029thegame.com, obviously on Facebook, and also at Tampa Joe's Facebook page as well. Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Kick, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, and call or text the show 727-858-6650. If anybody has anything nasty to say, I'm just going to block it. I'm too old to go for that bullshit. There's like one in every crowd that will say something nasty about this. I mean, the only reason why I block is that I don't deal with that nonsense anymore. So just go away. You have plenty of other options. Go the fuck out of here, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of gutless people that are behind social media, as we know. And by the way, one thing that I will never do for this program, ever, because we have wonderful sponsors and we have a lot more that are on the horizon here in the next couple of weeks. And I promise you, it's coming. I will never charge anybody to pay to watch this show. I won't, ever. That will never, ever happen. No matter what video platform we're on, you will never, ever have to pay anything to see this show, ever. There are others out there, because they don't have any sponsors, that are begging fans. What would they do? Would they be happy to pay $5, $10, $15 every time a month because they don't have any sponsors? And I can promise you, I would never humiliate myself and go on social media and beg for money for a show. I mean, for a charity or something like that, that's a whole different story. But never will you hear the words or anything from me. I can't speak for Angel, maybe I can. You'll never hear me go and say, please, would you pay $10 to watch my show? I mean,
I wouldn't.
That's embarrassing. I mean, that's embarrassing.
I wouldn't ask anyone to pay money for the show, that's for sure, only because then you start losing folks, honestly. It's the same way. I mean, you can mention about subscribing to the show and stuff like that. Like you can like same way with us. I mean, you can
subscribe for free. I mean, there's certain video platforms that you have to subscribe, but there's no cost. I think people get that term confused with that sometimes. They think subscribe means cost. No, it doesn't at all. But I will not sit here like some others recently and say, pay $10. Would you pay $10 to watch my show? Are you fucking kidding me? I wouldn't pay 10 cents. To watch any show. It's like I don't pay for newspapers. I will not pay for any. The only thing I get is ESPN Plus, which I kind of get for free. But that's the only other pay source that I would even consider, and it's only because they show a lot of Bruins games on ESPN Plus and a lot of other college games and a lot of other pro games that I would like to watch. And I do enjoy the content that is on ESPN Plus. A lot of it is a hell of a lot better than it is on regular ESPN pages, which is just kind of basic information. The other stuff gets into the real meat and potatoes on some of the games that I like and some of the leagues that I like. But never, ever would I ever come on or ask you. I wouldn't ask you for 5 cents to pay to watch this show. No. Never.
No, I wouldn't do it either. In the same way, like when it comes to like YouTube, which I had to explain to my mom, when it comes to YouTube, if you want to make and that's not us. Let me put the statement out there. It has nothing to do with us. Had nothing to do with our platform. If you want to make a comment, the way YouTube does it, they ask you to subscribe or at least to create a username. Therefore, they can go back and whoever decided to make some dunce kind of conversation, whatever case may be, they can go back and they can, investigate and do what they do. Just like we've had a couple folks that have made comments and I had to freaking block them for stupidity. Listen, you can say whatever you want in your own realm. don't come here and mention politics or this candidate, that candidate, or this, that, and the other, because again, it's about sports and not about that. And then the other thing too is that it drives me bananas when you have, whether you grow as a network or you fail as a network, but then to send cronies and your bots to attack other shows just because you feel like you didn't make it as a network. It's not my problem. It's not Pete's problem. It's not anybody else's problem, but your problem. It's a you thing. You chose to fail as a network. I don't care if it's ABC, NBC, CBS, whomever. You guys chose to fail as a network, but don't start attacking other people because you guys failed. That, to me, is just lack of maturity.
Yeah, that's why you're awesome. We're awesome. The Coastal Sports Network is great. We, provide an alternative to a lot of the stuff. I mean, the shows that are around this network are really, really good, and I hope everybody's checking them out. Rich Canone as Q, the Drive Home with Q is great. 3 days a week. Jay Flanley does a great job. He knows a lot of people up in Ann Arbor, from New England originally, but really connected with the Big Ten, and he's got a lot of football knowledge out there, which is great. A lot of knowledge in general out there, which is great. As you will find across this entire network, and we're not afraid of anything or anybody. We talk about whatever we want. It's sports and entertainment combined. I try to come up with some of the more creative videos, not just to satisfy my New England listeners, but and not just the Florida listeners either, because we are, we're a national show. We have listeners. We're actually a worldwide show. If you're new to the show, Angel keeps track of everything. I mean, Kazakhstan. Hello, we're how many countries are we in? Like 50. Honestly, it's like ridiculous how many people listen to us around the world. There's
about 50 countries, and then the sub-countries within the countries, because I know it's different. Some places have provinces, counties, this, that, and the other. But yeah, for the amount of the stretch that we have worldwide, it's absolutely amazing. I'm thankful. Even our friends to the west, north, or northwest, whichever you want to call it, in Alaska, they started tuning in as of recent. And
Fairbanks, hello.
Yeah, I'm forever grateful for just the folks coming here. And majority of it, Pete's, because we keep things honest. We like to have fun, and that's the most important thing. So you won't hear us going on and talk about this, that, or the other. To each his own. That's our thing.
I will not. People ask me, why don't you talk politics? I'm not talking politics. You can't win. You cannot win, and it doesn't matter. I don't want to piss off potential sponsors because of what they might think of me or whatever. You want to do that? Go on your own. Go privately, and you can spot off against this candidate or that candidate, whatever you want. You know my policy. I hate them all, basically. I don't trust any of them, and I trust me, and I trust my friends and my family and Luna. That's it. So like Al Pacino discovered, who do I trust? Me. Who put this thing together? Me.
Yeah, and we're gonna do things bigly.
By the way, speaking of awesomeness, get ready, my U fans, for this name, Hayden Lowe. Yes, that one. 4-star defensive end. I'm going to USC. He's from Los Angeles. I'm going to USC. I'm going to USC. I want to be a Trojan. I want to do this. I want to do that. I love Lincoln Riley. I'm going to, no. He finally came to a sense and says, no, I'm not going there. I am coming to the U instead and playing for the Hurricanes next year. This kid, 6'5", 248 pounds, now is an edge rusher from Los Angeles, California, had committed to USC, gave him the bird yesterday and said, I'm going to the U instead and play for Mario Cristobal and hopefully the national champion Miami Hurricanes. It's going to be nice to say that. A long way to go for that. But you know what I'm talking about. So that's great. They got another great player coming in next year. Hayden Lowe from Los Angeles, California, who had committed to USC. Now he says, nope, going to the U instead. Announced yesterday, 6'5", 248 pounds. All right, let's get to the stuff. Let's have some fun with Tyson and Paul holding their final press conference. Here's a funny Marco interviews Mike Tyson right before his fight with Jake Paul.
So do you feel like for $1 million I could take a punch? Or would I go to sleep?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a little scared. You can explain to us about the pigeons?
What do you want to know, brother?
When he sent you the pigeons, was it a good gift?
It was a beautiful gift, but the pigeon was probably disease infested.
When you win this fight, what is the first thing you're going to do?
I don't know. Eat some ice cream.
What kind of ice cream would you like to eat?
Jesus. Just ice cream.
Just ice cream.
I like eating ice cream sandwiches. After the fight, is it okay if I give you a hug?
Maybe I'll pass on that.
If you need any tips from me, I'm 11-0. Well, I lost 2 fights, so if there's anything you like me, anything you want to ask me?
No, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Okay.
Please get up.
Okay.
Oh no.
Now, I don't know if I don't know if you ever watched the cartoon that was, I think, only 2 or 3 seasons and about 8 or 9 episodes. Did you ever see, it was like Mike Tyson, like as a superhero? It was, what the hell was it called? It was on, not the Cartoon Network. Yeah, I think it was on Cartoon Network, and it was also on, what's that other network that shows a lot of animated stuff that's a little over the top? Oh God, I forget.
Oh, not Nickelodeon. What's that? Adult Swim?
It's like on Cartoon Network. It's that kind of a
Is it Adult Swim when they have?
Yes, Adult Swim. Boom.
Okay.
Nailed it. Thank you. Perfect. And I think the episodes are still there. It's fucking hysterical. Mike Tyson goes around trying to solve mysteries. It's almost like a botched Scooby-Doo.
Oh,
So
no.
he has his daughter or his half-daughter who's with him, a ghost who's gay, that wears a top hat and looks like something out of old England. It's hysterical. He has his pet Pigeon is his buddy, but his name is Pigeon. He's like this horny little pigeon that tries to follows him on all these. And there's somebody else too, I forget. It is hysterical. It is absolutely hysterical. And I don't know if you could put, if you find it, Angel, to punch up one highlight just to show people I'm not BSing you, or just the intro. The intro is the intro for the show is hysterical. It's like Mike Tyson, and he doesn't fight often. Once in a while, he'll punch somebody out, but it's so stupid. The episodes are only like 15 minutes long. The show is so stupid that it's funny. All right, well, Angel's trying to find that. Here's Jake Paul calling Mike Tyson boring during the press conference.
What's going through your mind? Is the old Mike back? Is vintage Mike back? Let us know.
Are you talking to me right now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess I'm back, yeah.
You're the star.
I'm just happy to be here. I love you, too. Thank you.
Why is he manufactured, and why are you for real?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you can expand on it. I mean, can you give me...
It's just what I said.
It's just that, all right. That's cool. When you hear that, do you agree with a big story, a big part of your history, of course, your first trainer, the late, great Cus D'Amato. What do you think he would say of this spectacle going down on Friday?
He'd be very happy.
What do you think he would tell you about how to beat Jake Paul?
He would be very happy.
All right. Jake, dare I ask, what do you make of Mike's demeanor tonight?
Man, I just, there's a lot of talk online saying you're gonna kill me, and it just, nothing in person. I don't know. It's pretty boring, pretty boring.
Do you think these are mind games?
I don't know, man. It's not working, whatever these games are. It's not going to change the result of what happens Friday night.
Mike, final word from you. Give it to us. Dig deep.
What a Mensa meeting this is.
I feel it. Yeah, final word to you, Mike. Final word to the world.
I'm just ready to fight.
Yeah, there he is. Iron Mike Tyson, everyone.
That is pathetic. Here's Jake Paul once again. He goes around the panel and makes bets with everybody.
So how much we want to bet on this? You said, Mike, how much you want to bet? He said he's good. That's what I thought. How much you want to bet? How much?
My property is like more than 1 million. I'll give you.
Deal. You want to bet?
Is that Iron Sheik?
Bro, the time I spent taking a shit is how much you make in your whole life, buddy. Shut the up. How much you want to lose? $1 million, deal. Fuck this, how much money? Exactly, how much money?
That's big.
Exactly, how much money? A ring, deal, let's go.
What if aliens are watching this
on all this
and thinking that
$1 million?
this is
$1 million?
the whole country,
$20
the whole
right
planet? You gotta be kidding me. I shouldn't be surprised. Jake Paul on why he's wearing a diamond spiked earring.
And what is going on with your ear over there, Jake, if I could just ask that?
I'm not getting my bit off on Friday night, so I got my diamond spiked ear covers right there.
All right.
And finally, from Mike Tyson, talking about family, Angel, family.
Outside of the fans watching and all the eyes on you, I'm sure the most important ones are your family. Your kids are out here. Everyone's coming in to see you on Friday. What does it mean to have family with you?
Well, it's the family's everything. But my kids, to my children, I'm nobody. But that night, they're going to find out their father's very special.
All right.
That's sad, really, kind of sad. I don't know, did you happen to find anything about the Tyson cartoon I was talking about?
Thanks to Duncan Dad, he said it's the Mike Tyson Mysteries.
Yes, Mike Tyson Mysteries. Now, is this the open?
I'm not too sure. It's the first thing I found, so I'm not too sure.
All right, play it.
Écoute, Young, lorsque je serai là-haut, si je finis par me rendre
No, it's in
compte que je
Japanese.
suis un
Hang on a second. Okay, they might be. I thought that was.
et que je m'auto-tue, je veux que tu saches que je t'aime. J'espère que tu poursuivras mon travail, en mon nom et à mon image.
No. We got that's obviously that's sounded
That's in French. Yeah.
We can find an English version somewhere.
I'm pretty sure it's got to be around. If that one came up, there's got to be another one that ends up pulling up.
All right. Well, let's take a break. Maybe we can find one, and then Trevor Harris is going to join me at the bottom of the hour from WQAM in Miami. We'll talk about the Canes, and they have the week off, and we'll talk about some recruits that they got, as I just told you, and also their upcoming game a week from Saturday at noon at Hard Rock against Wake Forest. And then Mick Colagio at 9:05. We'll talk some NHL, talk about the Boston Bruins, their game tonight at Minnesota, and the Winnipeg Jets are at Tampa Bay tonight, the red-hot, high-flying Winnipeg anti-New York Jets, a real Jets team, heading to Emily and Tampa tonight to take on the Lightning. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Thursday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Chicken and Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts, is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. Last month, you might remember Tim Thomas, legendary Bruins goalie, returned on October 5th. What a turnout it was. And now a new event coming up. On Saturday, November 30th, it's Willie O'Ree, yes, the original Jackie Robinson of the National Hockey League. He'll be signing autographs to the public, $25 each. There'll be photos, pucks, and cards available. Phone orders are welcome. Just call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. Hey, everybody. It's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For the best in college football and NFL talk, check out The Pete Sheppard Show, 7 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Oh, yeah, when you hear the Scorpions and rock you like a hurricane, you know it's Thursday. It's time to check in with our buddy Trevor Harris from QAM, all the way across from over there, across Alligator Alley, where I'm sure it isn't as nice, 72 degrees and pleasant, as in the 945.
No, you had it right, 954. Got it right the first time.
Not the 305.
No.
Anyway, Trevor Harris, we welcome him for his weekly visit here on the Pete Sheppard Show. Again, thanks everybody for checking us out on the Coastal Sports Network across the video platform. How are you this morning, young man? Were you sleeping?
I honestly, here's the best part. I had to do Hurricane Hotline yesterday. I didn't have to do a single game last night, so I was able to go to sleep a little early at least. But your boy likes to wake up like at 7:45 still, anyways. But it's actually a cool 79 right now in Deerfield Beach, Florida. So
Oh, very nice.
they'll
Very
take
nice.
it anyways.
It
So.
it is very nice. So I was telling everybody right before the break, and I found out early this morning, Hayden Lowe, which I'm sure you heard about, is the 6'5", 248-pound edge rusher out of Los Angeles, where he lives. He was supposed to go to USC. I'm going to USC. I love Lincoln Riley. Blah, blah, blah. Nope. Came to his senses, decided to come to the U and play for Mario Cristobal next year and the Hurricanes. That is another great get by the Canes. Fantastic. Very excited about that.
It also
6'5".
shows that
Yep.
Mario Cristobal still has the pulse of Los Angeles area football for recruits anyways, which is always good because he took all the kids from away from USC when he was at Oregon. He's doing it again. So good for that.
It's good to see. All right, so disappointing last week. You know, when we talked last week, I really wasn't sure that King was going to play. I felt I was being manipulated. And then even when he was warming up before the game, they kept showing him, like, is he really going to play? Or how much is he going to play? You know, he only threw 6 passes. Obviously, that wasn't the problem in the game. It was big chunks of running plays that the Canes came up again and still had a chance to win the game. Just I don't know, playing this team, it's certainly aggravating. Ward, you looked at if you told me the numbers, 348 yards and 3 touchdowns, I would have said that he must have won by at least a touchdown, 7 to 10 points. But it's finally came back, giving up those chunk plays, biting them in the butt. Finally has come back and bit them in the butt. And they still control their own destiny. If they win out, they would play. If they went out against Wake and Syracuse. What and this is something I thought I knew sort of the ins and outs of the college football playoff rankings / seeding. I thought the top 4, whoever's leading the conference at the time of these rankings, we all know they're going to change, that they were automatically going to get the bye. So I was expecting SMU to be the 4.
That's what I thought too. Anyways, too.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. I'm like, okay, so now there is, I guess, some subjectivity. I think it's because Cam Ward's having such a great year. I think the committee does realize that Miami is, they're certainly got the most cachet, best team in the ACC. But you got to be pissed if you're an SMU fan because SMU's got a better resume than Texas. Yeah. And they're being left out right now, as is Georgia, which I think is absolutely ridiculous that they've been left out for now, while Penn State is sitting up there and some other teams, Indiana as well, with the 108th ranked schedule. Even though they're sound fundamental teams, don't get me wrong, Trevor, I love the chaos. I'm all about the chaos in college football playoff rankings, but a couple of these are a little bit head-scratching. I think it'll play itself out. I think Georgia will win this week, and I think that Miami being at number 4 after losing to Georgia Tech and only dropping to 9 in the college football rankings, that shows you the kind of quote-unquote respect that the committee does have for the Canes.
I'm happy there is respect because the BCS had no respect at all.
No.
And the other playoff thing, or the 4-team thing, had no respect either. So I'm glad this one has a little more dignity and respect anyways. This is me. I can't stand Georgia and their fans. I really need Tennessee to win. I rather hear Rocky Top all day than hearing the Georgia thing anyways. So
it's hard not to like Rocky Top, that song. Absolutely. But I don't think they're going to. Carson Beck is just not that good.
No,
he just hasn't played that well. But part of me feels like Georgia, they're gonna do to Tennessee, maybe not as badly as what they did to Texas. Everybody was against them in there, and I loved Georgia going into that game. And I love Georgia this week. It's hard to go against Kirby Smart in these type of situations. Now, last week, not in a million years did I think Ole Miss was going to win that game against Georgia.
Me neither.
Well, Lane Kiffin's passed and everything else, and Lane was on Feinbaum's show yesterday, kind of subdued, but still. I did not. Those are the games that Lane Kiffin loses. It's like Penn State trying to beat Ohio State and Michigan. It doesn't happen.
Yeah,
but it did happen. It did happen. And then for LSU to get annihilated at home by Alabama when they were 15-0 under Brian Kelly under the lights, that was shocking to me. Not that they lost, but how they lost and got blown out. But
it also shows that Brian Kelly needs to be fired at LSU. That's the worst fit of all time.
Yeah, but, he's won a lot of big games. Yeah, he's won some big games there. He really has. He just, I don't think he's going to get fired. If they lose to the Gators this week, it's going to come up. They lose in the Swamp this week, and DJ Lagway was back practicing this week.
Yeah.
For Florida, so that's going to be interesting. You might be onto something if he loses that one.
Yes, I like to give you good takes anyway. So I think that one we should possibly get the binoculars out and start looking for it. Anyways.
So, did you have to produce a game last week? The Canes and Yellow Jackets.
I had to produce that bad boy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate Georgia Tech with a passion. I don't know what we need to do. Do we need to sage the locker room, or do we need to sage the whole city of Atlanta or something? I don't know what it is. Ever since the Canes have came to the ACC, and that is our mighty old year of our Lord 2004.
Yeah,
we cannot beat Georgia Tech.
Oh, even when they did, even in 2017 when the team started at 10-0. Do you remember the game they won at Georgia Tech? Yeah. And fluky play in the rain. Who threw the ball? Was it Derek? I think it was King.
I think that was probably Malik Rozier, maybe.
Oh, I think you're right. Yes, and even that was a fluky win.
Yeah,
and that put them up to number 2 in the country after that. And then then they lost.
And they lost to Pitt, which I was at.
They lost to Pitt after the Virginia Tech Notre Dame wins at home, and then they go to Pitt in a little bit of snow, and they played like dog poo poo. And lost, and then they got creamed in the ACC championship by Clemson, and then got creamed in a bowl game by Wisconsin.
Yeah, I was at that Pitt game. I have never felt so cold in my life. It was next to being at Flyers Penguins outdoor game. So I will say that.
Penguin AZ says, "What up, T. Harris?
What up, Penguin AZ? How we doing?"
Yeah. So what was? I mean, obviously, I didn't hear the post game show. What was Joe and the boys like after that?
Not happy. I will say it was not good. Honestly, like. We need to do something to that place, anyways. To Atlanta, like the Miami and the Miami Hurricanes. Whenever they play in the city of the ATL, does not look good at all. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter if it's. I don't know what it is. Honestly, we need to do something. Actually, I think we need to like. Like when you go to New Orleans, you have to go to the witch doctor. I think the Canes need to find a witch doctor and then sage the city of Atlanta whenever they come in before they come.
No, I hear you. It's kind of like Georgia, how they play against Kentucky. Kentucky always plays them tough. Doesn't matter. For some reason, it is a tough game always for Georgia when they play Kentucky. And next year, Georgia Tech comes back to Hard Rock, and hopefully, under better circumstances next year.
Yeah.
We open up against Miami, up against Notre Dame next year. We know that on Labor Day weekend, and who knows what week 2 or beyond will bring. But we still got, if they're ranked 4th now, they're or seeded 4th right now, there's no reason to believe that anything's going to change. Just need to beat Wake, and I'm sure it's going to be a very tough matchup at Syracuse.
That'll probably be a noon game, right?
Well, it's Wake Forest is a noon game next week.
Wake Forest is noon. We think that Syracuse game's going to be a noon game if we can do the crystal ball out. Can we say it's a noon game?
I'm going to say that one's going to be the 3:30 or at night. Because I think it's going to mean a lot. I think it's going to come down. It all depends on. I mean, if Boston College could pull up a huge upset this week at SMU,
yeah,
that would be something. And Castellanos got benched, and then he pouted, and he got away from the team. I'm going to have John Niederperl on tomorrow to talk about it. He couldn't go on today because he's at practice.
Can't blame him.
What's his name? Bryce? Was it Young? Not Bryce Young. The backup quarterback came in, did a decent job because Castellanos got hurt, and then they're saying they're going with this kid for the rest, for the foreseeable future. And Castellanos pouted and needed to get away from the team for a couple of days, which I think is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's ridiculous.
The modern college athlete or the modern athlete.
Unbelievable.
I just need Bill O'Brien to start screaming at him like he did to Tom Brady. That's when we know coaching is back.
Yes, absolutely. But Billy O'Brien don't give a shit. He don't care. The best players are going to play. That's the way he's coached, and he's always coached that way. And you look at Caleb Williams, nestling in the bowels of his mom's bosom after the USC lost to UCLA last year.
Utah,
what has that been on the field?
Utah.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that. That was an all-time moment, I got to say. Anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. And now he's being labeled as soft with too much pressure on him to begin with going into that scenario, but we could talk about that all day.
Yeah.
But sticking with the Canes. So look, we know Mario's got a really good recruiting class coming in. I think it was 3rd, now it's like 9th, but I mean, it may go back up after getting this kid.
I just want to know Is there a quarterback on that list, or are we going to the transfer portal again?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have all the names in front of me right now,
Yeah.
but it's a hell of a list. A hell of a bunch. All these people that think that Cam Ward, when he leaves, and all of a sudden Miami's going to slip out. No. They got an incredible class coming in, and look, Mike Norvell's going to survive at Florida State because they can't afford to pay him.
No.
They can't afford to buy out that contract, so he's at least going to be there for another half a season. I mean, his contract is good through 2030. Is it 2031, I believe?
I think so. It's almost like when Bobby Petrino was signing all those crazy 5-year contracts when he was at Louisville, then he left for the Atlanta Falcons and took the Arkansas job.
2031. Mike Norvell's contract is good through. And Billy Napier gets the vote of confidence last week from Strickland, the AD, whose ass is also on the line, by the way. So he has to say it. And then they go out and lay an egg in Texas, like I thought they would. I really thought they were going to obliterate it, and it was a worse beating than I thought. But all these ADs that are supporting their coaches, their asses are on the line just as much.
Yeah. It is crazy. Funny enough, I think we had Tim Reynolds on the Hurricane Hotline. He's saying like the Heisman is still down to his Cam Ward's chances are very slim now since that loss, but it's like all because everyone's going crazy for Travis Hunter, which is like, okay, he's a two-way player. Cam Ward's been the best thing in college football and making Miami Hurricanes football the best thing since.
Yeah, I still think he's definitely going to be in the top 3. I mean, he didn't have a bad game last week. He made a couple of plays that we're used to see him make. He didn't make towards the end, but he still passed for 348 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So they're still basically the number one offense in the country, the number one quarterback in the country. And Shadur Sanders is a very good. They're very good. I'm not going to be able to take it if they went out and then beat BYU.
Oh, I know. I really need
take it.
We really need Arizona State. Whenever Arizona State plays Colorado, we really need Arizona State to beat Colorado for all mental health. I like to say, anyways, it'll be the greatest thing ever. Seeing all the ASU kids storm on Deion Sanders' parade, anyways.
And of course, you have all the haters out there for the Hurricanes, and they were, "Senior told you." Well, you didn't tell us anything. I mean, look, Miami can score on anybody, on any defense, anybody in the country. That's not the problem. Anybody, Alabama, Georgia, bring it on. They'll put up points with anybody.
Yeah.
It's a question of stopping some of these chunk plays, and a lot of them are just some of these basic outside rushes. I don't understand it, how they cannot contain and just miss tackles sometimes. And I'm sure Mario is as frustrated as anybody.
Oh yeah.
Because with the way this defense doesn't have to be a top defense. They're on a lot of top defense. They just have to be average.
Yeah.
They've been below average. Let's be honest. They've been below average. And has the offense bailed them out? Yeah, in a lot of cases it has. But they just have to be average. That's all. They don't have to be a top tier defense. Just be average. Cut those chunk plays in half.
Yeah, this defense reminds me of the Chiefs defense from like the early 2000s when Dick Vermeil was there. Like you can get burned they're going to get burned, but the offense will be there, right? No problem with Priest Holmes and stuff. So that's what I've considered this defense to be. Anything from the Chiefs of the 2000s. So
what were the calls like after the game?
Honestly, not people. People say he wanted to fire the defensive coordinator. I told them, like, give me a name. I always tell this whenever someone wants to fire someone, give me a name. And then I stumped the dude. It's like, you got me. It's like, I did. Click.
Well, so did you have to host?
No, I had to do a little producing. I was also training someone too, so I'm showing how to do.
Yeah,
get all the liners right. Get everything. How to deal with some of these moron callers, because there's been some dumb ones anyway. So it's like.
Well, that's not uncommon, and I'm sure you know this, but most people don't understand that people who call into all these shows, and we got it all over Boston, Philadelphia, New York, down here, Miami. It doesn't matter. It's only 2% or less of the listeners that actually call in. Now, it's hysterical, and I watch usually the first hour of Feinbaum's show every day on TV.
Yep.
And that's his second hour. Because he does 2 to 6 on the radio and 3 to 6 usually, unless it's televised on the SEC network. It's the same 10 or 11 callers every single day.
Yeah,
and I've actually tried to call and just to see, like redialed like 10 times, can't get through. I don't know how these people. They must have some inside number. It's the same people that call in all the time. Now, on the Big Show back in the day, we had a lot of the same people call in too. It was like Seinfeld. It was very funny. A lot of and I don't mind that the same people call in because they're very funny. And there's nothing better than Alabama haters on Georgia haters. I mean, it's just absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, those are top tier like all time hater crowds. Anyways, I kind of it's like I want to see them like meet up in person and see if they go at each other like like that.
It has happened in the past. I know because that's why a lot of these guys have pictures with Paul and all that stuff. And I think overall he does a really good job with a lot of. Lane Kiffin was on with him yesterday. That was
really. I will listen at the gym today. I'm gonna say
very low key, very low key. But of course, in the end, Paul admitted how he's had his problems with Lane, just about not personally, but winning games. He's like, yep. And then Lane at the very end, like the last minute, he's like, yep. Well, he goes, you did get me fired from USC. And he's like, with some of your comments. And then I forget the Miley Cyrus thing. I forget why Miley Cyrus is involved. There's some Miley Cyrus comment, some sort of a buffer between Paul and Lane Kiffin. I forget what it is, but
I don't know. But Miley Cyrus, I have not heard that name in maybe 10 years. So that is breaking news to me.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't have nothing you didn't work Monday night for the Dolphins, did you?
No, I did not. I didn't have to. I was able to. I had to do morning show the next day. Actually, I had to do a double anyway. So I had to do the morning show, pass out for like a couple hours, and come back and do the Heat game because the NBA Cup Detroit Pistons, which I will say that was
NBA Cup.
Oh, thank God someone's with me on that because
everybody hates it.
Everyone in Miami loves it. I look at
you. Are you serious?
I'm not joking.
Why? The floor?
No, it brings a competition. It makes these November games and December games mean something. It's like
no, it doesn't.
And what do I say? Two out of that thing. The whole NBA.
So they're gonna hang up a freaking banner like the Lakers did last year.
If that happens, I'm gonna hawk two of the Miami Heat organizations. Like you guys are now the lowest of organizations. This is Charlotte Hornets organization type. You know why? Anyways.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So I'll give the Dolphins credit for Monday night winning that game. That was a hideous game, though. 8 field goals, 5 by the Rams, 3 by Miami. What a terrible game! And now I'm hoping the Patriots get the Rams this week in Foxborough. Flying over after a loss and got to go on the road. That usually bodes well for the home team.
Sean McVay's first time to Foxborough, by the way.
The what?
It's Sean McVay's first time going to Foxborough.
Yeah.
That's another wrinkle people have not said.
Yeah,
anyways,
right.
No, it's like I looked at it, I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Checked my records, like, wait, he's never been there. So we are officially in new territory for Sean McVay, anyways. So I'm excited for that, anyways. So
be good stuff. So what's your week like? I hate bye weeks, and I hate bye weeks. I
do too.
Bye weeks. I can't stand. There's no need for 2 bye weeks.
I need you just to get one. Make it like the NFL. Just make it one, anyways. Tonight we're about to do the podcast. Actually, I'm about to record this after this spot, anyways. I'm about to record that. I got to do.
And what's your podcast again?
The Upper Bowl podcast. I've been having Duncan Dad on a lot because I always like to conversate with people anyway. Yeah. So it's like
we're conversationalist. Yeah,
we need conversation. I love doing sometimes solo, but sometimes I need someone to come with, anyways.
Nice.
Come and talk with. I have that. This weekend I got to do the Heat game on Friday night. Sunday, instead of doing Heat basketball at 5:00, your boy gets to do Canes basketball with Joseph Gacki versus Coppin State. So I am excited.
When is that? Sunday at 5?
Sunday at 2, anyway. So I got to be there around like noonish. So
okay, when is Miami playing?
2:00. Miami Heat play at 5. So we're throwing on.
What about the Dolphins?
Dolphins we don't have the rights. Remember, we get pregame at 1, so they're gonna do postgame later after the Heat game and stuff.
You guys have the flagship for the Dolphins anymore?
No. They're on the other. They're in iHeart right now, so they're at 940.
Oh, iHeart, yeah, they're laying off people left and right, just as stimuluses and
sad to see, as in the radio business.
Not totally unexpected.
No, but I don't know if you saw Tom Tolbert got released by KNBR. That's a sad one. I'd like to say that's the area legend.
How about Len Berman from WOR? I mean, Chris Berman's brother Len used to be on NBC and he's been doing a radio show, Morning Drive, for like 19 years at WOR, and he got let go. There isn't, and unfortunately, that's why I'm doing this, because I just don't trust anybody. I'm glad you're able to come on and it's been great.
I'm keeping my shoulder over myself, like keep an eye over my shoulder in case the Grim Reaper's coming. But so far we're still employed, so I can live another day, as a movie would say.
All right, Trev, I'll let you go do your podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. And Duncan Dad says, hey, good morning, guys. The first time, long time. Yeah, bullshit.
I will be back next week. I'll say that. But next week,
yeah,
I will be in Los Angeles. Hello for the Eagles and Rams game. So I get to go be a fan.
Will you be available next Thursday, though?
I will be available next Thursday. I'll
Right.
tell you that. Next Friday, I
good.
leave to Los Angeles.
Nice. Very good.
San Diego first, anyways.
All right, Trev. We'll look forward to talking to you next week. Enjoy your podcast.
We'll
Trevor
do Canes, anyways.
Yes. Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami, joining us here on the Pete Sheppard Show. Angel, before we go to break and before Michelangelo comes on at 9:05, and we'll talk Bruins and we'll talk NHL, right underneath the show is from Get Up this morning. Interesting stuff. Another take on the Eagles and the Washington Commanders. Do you see it by chance? Okay. Oh, I know. Oh, I saw you. You found on Mike Tyson. Okay, yeah. Let's play this first.
Nobody expected the Commanders to be in this position. It's almost as if the rookie quarterback has uplifted the entire franchise.
Yeah, totally.
And if they could win tonight, somehow find a way to win in Philadelphia, they would move into first place now. Having won in Philadelphia, it would make a statement not only for tonight, not only for this season, but I think for seasons to come, that we have a quarterback that's ready to dominate in the NFC East, where the Giants are struggling to figure out who's playing quarterback, where the Cowboys have a quarterback who's undergoing surgery yesterday. He's out for the year. Where the Eagles have Jalen Hurts. But if you win on their home turf and send them a message in front of their fans, that, to me, is a huge statement if they could find a way to pull it off.
If Philadelphia starts slow like they have, they'll get booed. They'll get booed in the first half. If it's 7-6, that home crowd will boo Philadelphia. I think it's a massive game for Washington. Got to go back to last week. They lose on the last play of the game. It's kind of like their first real, I guess, hiccup or adversity for Jaden Daniels in this offense. It's the short week. They got to go on the road. We got to remember, too, this is a grueling season. Go back to last year, college football, and he's carrying LSU. Jaden Daniels, and then he goes through the Heisman experience, and then he's the number 2 pick in the draft, and all of a sudden he starts this season on a rocket ship. Now it's like, okay, you lost at home. You had the ball last. You didn't get it done. You got to go on the road. And how he handles this stretch, they haven't had their bye week yet. I'm fascinated to see how he plays.
Didn't you say that there are some people who feel like he's starting to get a little tired, right? It's a long season. And if we look at the numbers, the last 2 weeks, he's averaged 216 yards in total offense, whereas in the first part of the season, he'd been averaging 288 yards per game. So his production has fallen off about 70 yards per game over the last 2 weeks.
Well, maybe he has to start running again. Why do I get the feeling you're going to see more Jaden Daniels running tonight? But again, the 28th ranked run defense by the Commanders going up against Saquon Barkley. I will take Saquon Barkley and the Eagles tonight in a very close game. Tough game to call. I got to look at the numbers once again. I saw that you found, before we go to break, Angie, we were talking about the Mike Tyson card. We played highlights earlier today of the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul final press conference highlights from yesterday. Not exactly Mensa meeting-esque. And not only were the answers crazy, but the people asking the questions were nuts too. But okay, I told you about Mike Tyson. In case you never saw Mike Tyson Mysteries, this was a quirky little TV show. I think it was either 2 or 3 seasons, like 7 or 8 episodes a season, only 15 minutes long. This is it's kind of like Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine gone a 180 in some parallel universe. But here's the open for it. Oh, that was only the only.
What the fuck is this? Bobby Fischer? Where the hell is his brain?
Anyway,
seriously? You're kicking.
It's such a quirky thing. I'm telling you, if you ever want to just laugh for a few minutes over something completely idiotic and stupid, Tyson's hysterical in it. I mean, he's doing the voice. It's very, very funny. And at the end of every episode, they actually show Mike live with that stupid little blue suit on and everything else. Looks like Letterman from the electric company. He's sitting there, and he actually talks about the show. It's very, very funny. Anyway, all right, Mick Colagio. Coming up next, NHL Insider. We're going to talk Bruins hockey and NHL. Coming up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show, the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Chicken and Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Bill Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Massachusetts, is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. Last month, you might remember Tim Thomas, legendary Bruins goalie, returned on October 5th. What a turnout it was. And now a new event coming up. On Saturday, November 30th, it's Willie O'Ree. Yes, the original Jackie Robinson of the National Hockey League. He'll be signing autographs to the public, $25 each. There'll be photos, pucks, and cards available. Phone orders are welcome. Just call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Welcome back. It's hour number 3, third and final hour here on The Pete Sheppard Show across the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks, everybody, for checking me out on Twitter, X at PShep326. And, of course, on Facebook, SR1029thegame.com, Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Kick, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube. You can call or text the show at 727-858-6650. Nobody's getting hacked or sawed to death in my house. We're still having some kitchen work done. The backsplash angel is going on right now, and our handyman Alan is in the kitchen sawing away, water sawing away, so it keeps the dust down. I don't know how to use those things. Or probably cut off a limb, but that noise is what you hear in the background. As can't be helped. It can't be helped. Can't be helped. The backsplash is beautiful, though.
Let them know they cannot touch the speakeasy door. They got to leave that one alone.
Oh, that's right. That's fine. No,
Okay.
that's fine. No, this is about the backsplash going up. The kitchen has already been. We had did the island and the back counter are redone. It looks really, really nice. And now we're putting in new backsplash, which I had to pick up a 60-pound box yesterday and thought I was going to die. Carrying it from the garage to the kitchen, but we digress. Anyway, Mick Collage, you're going to be joining me at any moment here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. In fact, always the intro. And we say good morning to Mick Collagio from the BostonHockeyNow.com, from RinkWrapMC.com, Hockey News, and he's on a bunch of podcasts. One of the best NHL insiders out there, the one and only Mick Collagio. We're not only going to talk Bruins today. We'll talk some other stuff for the NHL as well, particularly the Winnipeg Jets for the second week in a row. They just can't lose. It's unbelievable. Mick, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Pete. How you doing?
I'm great. Much better after that third period the other night. I was watching the game on my phone and the two stupid power play goals again. I'm like, here we go again. But I will give them credit. That showed a lot of heart, a lot of character coming back, scoring 3. And Pasternak, first goal in 8 games, for God's sake. Jeez.
And it mattered.
It did. Yes, it did. So that a lot of heart, a lot of character there for that one, coming back and, against not a great St. Louis Blues team, but nevertheless, a win is a win. I'll take it.
The St. Louis Blues had not scored a power play goal at home this year. That game, they scored their first 2 power play goals at home this year. It's unbelievable how the Bruins penalty kill has found a wormhole that they can't seem to escape.
What has happened? Why? What is going on? Is it what is going on? I mean, it's just I don't know. Too many chances.
I think it's a moving target. I think that there's been. It certainly isn't the thing about the old saying, "Your goaltender's got to be your best penalty killer." He has been. Yeah. It'd be worse. So it's really just one of the strangest things I've seen, because the Bruins have had this unreasonable, idiosyncratic. I'm trying to find a word here to describe how through many eras of Bruins hockey, decade to decade, I've never known them to have a crappy penalty kill.
Never. They're always in the top 5 usually.
And this team, came on paper, fancies itself a cup contender, and yet somehow this season they suck. That said, their 5-on-5 game, with the emergence of each individual who's giving a better product of his own account as the season has crawled along week to week, whether it was Marchand, who had to overcome 3 summer surgeries, or Charlie Coyle, who inexplicably couldn't seem to get himself out of second gear. Kastelik, he's been awesome from the get-go.
Yeah.
Although now he's sort of fading into the background a little bit, because ever since Jim Montgomery broke up that 4th line and tried to sprinkle their magic throughout the lineup, they haven't been quite the same. They're trying hard, but I feel like they're not having the same kind of impact that they were earlier. But what's really happening is that you got some other guys like Pavel Zacha, who I think for a few weeks here has been playing excellent hockey, both sides of the puck, and now he's been.
He moved Marchand back up to the first line, you think, or if.
And while Marchand's been coming along, but I think the real thing that happened here is Zacha got moved to the middle.
Yeah.
Because as you're trying to look, if you're Jim Montgomery and you're trying to figure out ways to get this team some offensive continuity and some pressure on opponents and generate line to line, then Zacha, as a centerman last year until late in the season, he was starting to play so well in his spot that they really, and tenacity too. I mean, just really been the best forward for a few weeks here, and so they wanted to get a look at him in the middle and see if that would help some other players, and it has. And unfortunately for Matty Poitras, who hasn't been bad, he got leverage down to Providence, so he'll be making his American Hockey League debut tomorrow night.
Do you see the foreseeable future? I mean, Zacha centering Marchand on the left and Pasta on the right. Is that going to happen?
They need solutions right now. It's actually more convoluted than that, how this is going to work out with wingers. But it's definitely going to be Zacha with Pasta. Instead of having Elias Lindholm center Pasta, they needed to try something, anything, barring an old Todd Rundgren album name there. They needed to.
It's me.
That's right. That's right. He wrote it, and another guy sang it in the rock band they had back around 1970 called the Naz. It was a really echoey, weird thing, and then he took it and then ding, 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 all piano based, and the freaking thing went nuts. Yeah. And my favorite Todd song is on that record as well.
Bang the Drum All Day.
It's funny how there's always a couple songs that you in the grocery aisles that you're always hearing from a certain artist. Can't they play something else by this guy besides Hello It's Me or Bang the Drum All Day? Because so many great songs. But I Saw the Light is my favorite.
That's right. He didn't tour a lot, and neither did Steely Dan. And that's why whenever they do, it's especially Steely Dan. I mean, there's some groups that you're like, geez, they never tour, or they never tour that much. But when they do, it's like it's must see.
Well, he kind of disappeared a while because he sort of got absorbed into that prog rock thing with Utopia in the 80s and all that. But actually, I've, since 1987, I think, at the old Middle East in Providence, the one with the bubble window, I actually saw him for the first time, and I've probably seen him 12 times since then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I digress. So the Bruins. Yeah. So Zach in the middle, Matt Poitras making his Providence debut tomorrow night. He never played against in the American Hockey League, but this year he's eligible. He did not need waivers, and so he's the odd man out here because they certainly don't want him playing fourth line, and it also puts Charlie Coyle down to the third line, which is probably good for the bottom six. The Bruins got a bit better middle lineup continuity this way. It does leave the wingers a little less weight on the wing without Zaka there. But you know what? Strength down the middle, so help me Harry Sinden. This is how they're going to try to get it done. And they've been a good 5-on-5 team lately. So its question is, they can get their special teams in order, then the Bruins might start turning this thing around.
How big of a loss is going to be Hampus Lindholm? Went down with a lower body injury in St. Louis, and then they call up. I didn't realize this guy was still playing. 32 years old.
Osterley,
Jordan Osterley, who scored, played for Calgary recently. Has played in 371 career games. Does this make him the oldest player in the NHL officially this year at 32? Is anybody?
No. Marchand's north of 30.
That's right. Marchand's older than that. That's right.
Yeah, just to start with, he's not the oldest on his own team. Hey, 30 is the new.
That's true.
35 is the new 35. 35 is the new 30 in the NHL. Guys take care of themselves so much better these days, or they're taken care of so much better these days by technology, medicine, trainers, you name it, nutrition. That's a big one. The Bruins, he's been the Bruins' best defenseman this year. He really has. His two-way game has been excellent. He's played about as well as he did when he joined the club. Well, not when he joined, but the second year, the year that the Bruins knocked out of the park a couple seasons ago. He was playing before McAvoy got over his surgery and got back in the lineup. Hampus was really carrying the blue line. That's how he's playing this year, and it's really kind of a shame that he goes down now, and apparently he's week to week. So they've lost two defensemen recently. Their third right defenseman, Andrew Peak, and now Hampus, who's been really their best performer back there in all facets. So Charlie McAvoy, time to carry the mail, buddy. So.
Well, is it going to be paired with Brandon Carlo coming up? Is it going to stay,
No. Carlo and McAvoy are right side staples. They both write shots, and in the NHL, there's almost nobody left who chooses to play a left shot on the right side. The Bruins have this long history of all-time greats playing a left shot on the right side. Bobby Orr, Brad Park, Ray Bourque. But if you can play your rights on your right and your lefts on your left in today's NHL, that's how you want to defend. You can weave if you're coming forward with the puck to get your stick shooting lanes inside, like Alain Vigneault did a lot with the Rangers when he was coaching them about 10 years ago. But but you always expect to see your rights on the right and your lefts on the left in the NHL these days from a defensive standpoint.
But you think he's going to I can't remember his name. You just said it.
Mason. Let's just go through
the new guy coming up from Providence.
Australia, yeah. Yeah, so I think he'll be integrated third pairing, I think. But we'll see. I mean,
so who goes up on the penalty killing unit where
he's not a big guy. He's like 6 feet and $189, I think. So it's not like he's got super reach. Bruins love reach back there. They love a guy with a long stick and a lanky body to kill penalties because they stay pretty much in that box, so they want the reach. And so I don't really know in that regard. And the Bruins do take a lot of penalties. But I think as their 5-on-5 game has improved, they're in the box less. And so I think a lot of less chasing, fewer of those chasing the game penalties are happening. But I think with Parker Wotherspoon having been around a while here, and Mason Lowery, I don't really think he's gonna necessarily kill, but I think that they got that's their left shot. Their left side's a little vulnerable right now, and that'll be what Dallas tries to attack.
Corpusala going to set the start tonight, you think, or Jeremy Swayman be back in the net?
My gut feeling is he's going to come back with Swayman. We'll find out if I'm reading the tea leaves right here. I just feel like the team is starting to come together. They're playing better hockey as a unit, and that leaders have been the leaders lately. So I think that this is, if there's going to be a moment here before the Bruins find traction, the win-loss column, to acknowledge the team's play and galvanize around their frontline guys. This is kind of a game for that, especially facing a team that's only lost once on home ice tonight in Dallas. That's a tough chore to come back tonight and play those guys. And it's funny, too, the Stars. There's an article on NHL.com about Tyler Seguin, now being kind of like
a mature leader.
The wise old sage, and I'm thinking, holy crap, am I old?
I'm thinking how many discussions we had back in 2011, and you kind of knew what was going on. You did. You and others were around the team all the time, and when I was back in Boston or wherever the hell I was, and we would have conversations. And without saying, the Bruins are posting sentry guards outside of Tyler Seguin.
Well, that was actually 2 years later.
2 years later, that's
when
right.
He was 21 years old by then. Right. And this was a series against the Maple Leafs.
That's right.
And then in the 13, the year they went back to the final against the Blackhawks, that's when it really kind of everything
escalated.
Yeah.
Nobody would come out and say anything. No, I mean, you're privy to a lot of, you're not going to reveal sources, but you guys knew that something wasn't right with him as far as, I mean, just being young and immature and going out, and they had to post a guard outside his hotel room.
Yeah, that actually happened. And there's other stuff that I heard on the QT that I can't get into that verified at a grassroots level, but whether it's, Dennis Weidman, wasn't the most mature player when he played for the Bruins in his early days. You're living in the North End. You're a rock star. You
can walk home.
Well, you did it.
I did it. I used to walk to work and walk home. Yeah,
that's right. So there's. I just know that a lot of these guys they grow up later than others, and so while they may be great hockey players at a young age or fabulously skilled professional athletes at a young age, their brains have not yet caught up to their bodies. So.
Yeah, I still remember. I told you this before I get into the Stars. I actually wrote Minnesota down today, not Dallas. It's still always be.
We're going to Bloomington, Minnesota, and see those green, white, yellow, green, white, yellow, green, white, yellow seats, and watch them play the North Stars.
Still see Dino Ciccarelli out there.
That prick.
I still remember coming out of the Garden after I think they beat the Kings 4-2. I'm walking home, and Joe Thornton's brother, I think I told you the story. Joe Thornton's brother's like, hey, because I had met him before. He said, Pete, he's like, we're going to John the Greek's house. John the Greek is the...
Yeah.
Does he
I just saw him. Yeah, I just saw him the other day.
He's the in-house video guy for the Bruins. He's been there forever. He's the one that sits in the back of the net on top, or used to anyway. All
the duties have evolved over the years, but he did a lot of stuff for the Bruins.
He's like,
he used to hand out the media badges. The game-by-game media passes he used to hand out from 150 Causeway, the office building next door. He did that too.
It's like 4:30 in the afternoon. They played a 1 o'clock game. They beat the Kings 4-2. I'm leaving, and Joe Thornton's brother is blocking Causeway Street because he's kind of halfway to do a UE to go down Prince Street, and I'm like. It's Pete. He goes, do you know where John the Greek lives? I said, yeah, he lives across the street from where. He goes, oh, okay. He goes, jump in. And I thought, and I'm literally going a block and a half, if that. I thought we were going to get killed like 3 times. And he's bigger than his brother. I mean, tall-wise, So we ended up going back.
That guy's huge.
We went back to the Greek's house and played pool, and he had a whole bunch of hockey videos up. It was a blast, and Joe came in, and then I don't know. We played beer ping pong. I can't remember. I was annihilated.
Greek is a guy who should do a book.
Oh my God, yeah. The stories that he could tell, Jesus,
yeah,
amazing stuff. All right. As far as the Stars go, though, I mean Tyler Seguin, pair with Matt Duchene. Now the Stars until I think Monday, they're having a hard time scoring goals. Also, I know they have a great home record as well, but Duchene and Tyler Seguin, that line to me, looking over it with Hines and Dadonov and Robertson, the second line is that's about as good a second line as you're going to get in the NHL, I think, with Duchene and Seguin there.
Yeah, I think it's funny for them. How do they do it? Because Robertson is very much like a Charlie Simmer type player, 0 to 60. And as Charlie Simmer used to say about himself, 0 to 60 in 15 minutes. But somehow Robertson, even though he's kind of a straight up skater who doesn't really get from point A to point B too swiftly, he makes himself look fast because he's so smart. He anticipates and reads plays, and he's so good at sniffing out open spaces and including off the rush, which you wouldn't have guessed with a guy who, like Duchene, should be able to lap him in one lap around the rink. And so there's a really nice skater, and Seguin obviously had a lot of speed when he broke into the league. He's had so many damn surgeries and injuries over his career that he's still pretty swift out there for a guy who is really almost like a rebuilt car. But he doesn't get around like he did, but he still gets around okay. So I think it's really funny when you have a team like that. You don't have Pavelski anymore, who they used to lean on quite a bit, despite being 70 years old and also not being up and down the ice very fast. But I think a lot of it keys off of Rupi Hintz. I just think that guy is such a horse in the middle. He's not like a huge statistics guy, but I think he's a great enabler because of the way he can protect the puck and move around back and forth and play physically as well. I just think that he's a really nice centerman that is kind of like the kind the Bruins used to have with Bergeron and Krejci, where they weren't going to wow anybody, they weren't going to win the Art Ross any given year, but they could get the job done. And that's a nice team, Dallas, and I think they're really built around their back end. It's really Heiskanen, Lindell, Harley, Hanley, those guys. They're big or they're thick, and they can all skate and they handle the puck really well. That's the basis of that team. If they stay healthy there, then they can win even if they're not scoring a lot.
Finally, speaking of winning and not winning, the Tampa Bay Lightning have been in a major slump, 0-3-1 since that shootout loss to Philly earlier in the week. But Winnipeg Jets and our old friend, I mean, they're just on fire like the Bruins were a couple of years ago, but no one's ever started 15-1 before. That can be a blessing in disguise or can be a disaster.
The Bruins were 14-1-3 last year out of the gate.
But it's great to see Hellebuck, who's, I believe, 12-0 or 13-0 this year. Arguably the best goalie in the league thus far.
It wasn't last night. It was this guy named Vezmelka. This journeyman from Czechia, Vezmelka for Utah. Yes. He was unbelievable. He stopped 49 out of 50 shots of the Carolina Hurricanes last night
I didn't see that.
in Salt Lake City, and they beat Carolina. It's hilarious. They've now lost 2 out of 3. But last night they should have won 10-3, 10-2, or whatever it was. They scored 1 goal.
Wow,
so,
49 save.
I was able to watch some of that one, and it was fantastic. This kid was great. I call him my kid because I don't really know him, but he's a left stick. He's 6'4" with a left stick goalie. So but you're right. Hellebuck or Hellebusick, as I love to call him. Yeah. He's been an excellent warhorse in the NHL now for several years. He's been a guy who is always up there and wins. Sometimes the goals against and save percentage aren't the greatest because you're no better than the team in front of you, and that team's had some turmoil. But I felt like they really made progress last year, and this year, obviously, they're formidable. So how good are they? Boy, hard to know until we see those wheels come off and then they get, their second push. Then they'll really get a better sense of how good they are.
I'm hoping the Lightning may get Braden Point back tonight. He hasn't played since in 11 days since getting.
Well, there you go, 0-3-1.
Yeah.
Braden Point key. These are, you used to be able to move Stamkos to the middle when you didn't have Point. Can't do that anymore. So he's in Nashville. So, and Gensel, he's not a center, he's a winger. So Braden Point's, if he was up for a contract now, he'd make more than he's making.
Well, you think it's just that simple? And I know the Lightning the last 2 or 3 years have gone through phases like this. I don't ever remember them being only 7-6-1 through 14 games, still very early. And I've asked some other people about this as well, but is any chance at all that, John Cooper, not that he's losing the locker room or anything like that, but look, is it possible they're tuning him out? Should they be better? Should they be better than 7-6-1, Mick, in your opinion?
There's a lot of teams that probably think they should be better than 7-6-1. I mean, and I'm talking locally as well. I just think that this has been that kind of a year. There's a ton of 7-6-1 teams. Or I think at one point, a few, like 3 or 4 days ago, there was something like 15 teams that were within one game of NHL 500. They were either 7-6-1, 6-6-1, 6-7-1. If there was something like that, and it's been a really weird year. You got a few teams that are knocking it out of the park, like the Jets, and you have a couple teams that are now starting to find their way to the bottom where you expected them all along. I'm looking at you, Montreal. And just because, you know what, they're doing the right things. It's just got a long haul. It's a process, and it's going to be a tough road back for a team like that in a division like the one they're in. It just is. And, so I don't know. I think that in a case like the Lightning, now, if it's January and they're meandering like this, then, and everybody's healthy, then you got a question. Now, I don't know. I'm thinking like I got to look up and see what happened with Eric Chernak. Got hit again, bad. He took another bad hit. And so I'm wondering how many games he's missed. And that's something that's very easy to figure out as I look on my little phone at Hockey Reference, because I saw the hit he took, and it was another bad hit, another concussion type hit. So his last game was on November 7th. He last played a week ago in that Philadelphia game. So here's one of your guys who's one of your big three. You moved on from Sergachev and brought back Ryan McDonough at a pretty old age to be part of your big three defense on which they base their Stanley Cup teams. And so along with Victor Hedman, and Chernak has been out for a week. So, if they got to have those elements in their game in front of Vasilevsky in order to have the kind of effect that they have in hockey games, that's their team. That's the basis of their team. So, they're strong down the middle with Point. But you don't have Point, you don't have Chernak. You can't have bigger holes on a team than that.
Totally agree. Mick, last thing, I saw you tweeted it out. I don't get to listen to this, but it's amazing that the UMass Sports Network got Pierre Maguire is going to join their broadcast for home games for the hockey team. That's
that's an interesting one. Our old friend Jimmy Murphy, has been doing a sick podcast with Pierre. So I'm really not sure. I haven't talked to Murph. I'll probably see him Saturday.
I got to get Murph on this show too.
Yeah, I can help you out with that. I'll text you. But he and Pierre have been doing this this podcast, the eye test they call it. Yeah. And so but and I always say like boy Murph he runs with the big boys, good for him. And but boy, with a guy like Pierre, you just never know if a team's going to say, "Hey, come be our assistant GM."
That's the thing.
Then what?
Yeah.
But
I agree. I'm surprised I'm surprised that it hasn't happened, to be honest with you.
Well, he's been in hockey and out of hockey for a long time. He's got a kid now that plays at I think college age level. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that's connected to this at all because I haven't been keeping tabs on it. So, but that might be what winds up, being a connective tissue to this whole thing.
They played at UMass. UMass currently ranked like 21 right now. Harvard's at 20. Denver's still on top of the college hockey rankings now. BC is 2, Minnesota 3, Michigan State, Michigan, Cornell, Maine, Colorado College, North Dakota, Providence somehow was only ranked 10th at 6, 1, and 2. BU. So, I mean, the usual. UMass Lowell. Good to see Coach Norm Bazin and the UMass Lowell Riverhawks back up there, too. They had a kind of a down year last year. It's good to see them back ranked. He's one of the best coaches in the country. Hellebuck's former coach.
Right. It's amazing the players that have come through that program. Cale McCarr. What more do you need? I mean, but there's been a long history of impactful NHLers that have come through hockey schools that are not the usual suspects. BU and BC, they don't get everybody. So it's a fantastic product for people who want to see great hockey games on Friday and Saturday night. So anyway, my little tour here of the UMass roster, just in case he had a kid on it. He does not. The Bruins have their Latvian prospect on that team, Dans Lockmelis. So one of the greatest hockey jokes I've heard in many years was when during the Olympics, before the Olympics, back when Ted Nolan was going to coach Latvia.
Oh God!
And one of the Canadian writers wrote the Latvia did congratulations, Latvia will be coached by Ted Nolans. That was very well played.
What a story that was back in the day, huh?
Yeah. How about that one?
There's a lot of
like button.
There's a lot of friendships for Ted back in the day when he was head coach.
Yep.
Anyway, Mick, you're the best. What do you got coming up? Anything that you want to plug here as well? I know you're semi-retired somewhat. I know you're still doing stuff for BostonHockeyNow.com and your RinkWrapMC.com.
Well, I'm blogging the home games. I'm writing, situation columns. And the Hockey News, when they come out with their Money Power issue, they're getting that thing ready. And when they do, then I have the Bruins article for that. So, and I make almost weekly appearances on Joe Haggerty's Pucks with Hags podcast.
Sweet.
So, we're scheduled to do another one tomorrow morning.
Good. Hope all is well. Tell Joe, wish him well and all the best. And
will do.
I'd like to get the old crew back together, talking hockey. It's great. Hockey, it's huge down here in Southwest Florida. People wouldn't believe it, but it really is. And it's been it's always great having you on. So have a great rest of your week and weekend, and all the best to you and the lovely Lauren.
Thank you, Pete. Thanks, Angel. You guys have a great day.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Bye-bye.
A little bit of breaking news while I was talking to Mick, and this is why Portnoy is a genius again at Barstool Sports. Former Buccaneers and Raiders head coach John Gruden has signed a multi-year deal with Barstool Sports. That is a great get for Portnoy. He's been doing stuff on the side, podcasts and everything else. And the other NFL news is the Indianapolis tourism officials announced an agreement to continue hosting the NFL Scouting Combine through 2026. Previous agreement was set to end with next year's Combine. So, man, there's all of that. Anywho, Christian Barmore is back practicing with the Patriots for the first time all year. So, days of giving up 180 yards on the ground, as my buddy Jerry Thornton says, will be over soon. By the way, Jerry Thornton tweeted out he has gone through hell. That's why he has been on the last couple of weeks, and maybe I'll get him on tomorrow. He's such an unbelievable person, what he's gone through, losing both of his brothers over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And he tweeted out, I got to find it because only Jerry. He had tweeted out on November 11th on Monday, there won't be his normal podcast that he does. So to the Patriots game today, the Thornton family has buried brother, uncle, and Patriots savant to bury. But after that, he put something out there. What did he say a few days ago? I got to find it because I don't want to do a disservice. But typical Jerry, being the great guy that he is. It was something like it's day one or day 2 days in a row where I haven't had to bury a family member. Just like, but that's so Jerry. But he's gone through hell the last couple of. One was sudden, one was sort of. I think one of them was sick. One of them was very sudden. But he lost 2 brothers. One of them on his way to the funeral of the other one. It's crazy stuff. So anyway. Anywho, what else? Anything else coming up today on the network? Otherwise, I know you have stuff to do. You have stuff inside and outside the home to get to. So we can cut a little bit short, Angel, and make sure you get your stuff done. Anything else coming up on the network today? Tomorrow is Friday, obviously. Lots of great guests as always. But what's coming up on the network today? Anything, Angel?
Nothing major really to talk about as far as on the network. And then tomorrow's Football Friday, so Q will be back tomorrow for Football Friday. I will be back probably looking like a zombie by the time it's all said and done because my lovely wife and her sister hit the road today after what they're back in Illinois for today. So it's going to be another long night of just staying up with them and making sure they get home safe. And then, Beef will be joining me tomorrow. As long as everything works fine there during the overnight. And then men's basketball tomorrow evening, women's basketball on Sunday.
Wow, that's a lot going on. Well, tomorrow, definitely 2 guests, I can tell you. At 9:05 will be John Meter-Perrell, BC play-by-play voice, ACC Network college basketball voice. We'll get into what's happening at BC with the quarterback situation there, plus other ACC news. We'll talk about, of course, Gabe Morency at 9:30. We'll have his weekly picks. I will have my pigskin picks and try to redeem myself from last week. Not so much in the NFL, but in college. God, I'm getting porked, Angel. Point here, half a point there. Frustrating, but it is. I just like to do great on the show. But I see some of these other people that pick games against the spread, and I'm way better than some of these other people. But I'll have all my pigskin picks. We'll recap the Eagles and the Commanders tomorrow. That's another reason why Angel's going to be staying up late tonight. I can't wait for him to text me at any point. You text me, you text me sometimes when the Eagles are up by 14 or 20 points, and your texts sound like they're down 20 points. So,
yeah, well, it's again, you have to go with the roller coaster, and hopefully the latter of the two is better. But I'm putting my faith behind Jalen Hurts. I think they should be able to pull it off, and if they don't, shame on them for losing it.
I am going to say 27-24 Eagles. Saquon Barkley, 2 touchdowns tonight. How about that?
And Zach Ertz with 1?
Zach Ertz with 1, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And we'll talk about it tomorrow morning. Joey B says Swanson's Hungry Man dinners for Angel. No, he's not eating that stuff. No. And take care, fellas. All right, everybody. I am Pete. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out today on the Coastal Sports Network across the video platform and on the app as well at SR1029 The Game and SR1029thegame.com. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m., everybody. Have a great and safe rest of your Thursday. See you.
By the grace of the fire and the flames, you're the face of the future, the blood in my veins. Oh.